offer.
All right, legends. Finally, some good price action.
And this will allow them to participate in
I am
that,
watching
as
the
well as
Clarity
the
Act voting.
more hardworking Americans can access more investment options and ultimately retire sooner. I want to thank Senator Warnock for leading
Check
the
it out.
standalone bill with me and a number of my colleagues.
Executive
from the
business
committee, both
meeting,
Democrat and Republican,
Digital
who
Asset Market
co-sponsored it.
Clarity Act of
I am committed to
2025.
finding a vehicle for this to move. I am also committed to making sure that the Clarity Act moves out today. So we will look for a different vehicle and we'll continue.
Are we bullish?
to
Are you guys
support
bullish?
my amendment.
I also filmed a video earlier today. Let me know if you can hear
Very much. And now Paul, four in 64.
Thank you,
the
Mr.
live.
Chairman. So this bill that we're looking at fails to address foundational gaps on money laundering responsibilities for conventional crypto businesses and for DeFi services. And even for the very worst platforms, this bill fails to restore sanctions authority to isolate them. While we're at war, Iran is openly gearing up to collect crypto fees from oil tankers to pass through the Strait of Hormuz. Terrorist groups, rogue states, foreign adversaries, and criminals are using crypto to evade our sanctions and launder their money. According to industry analysts, crypto crime jumped at least $154 billion last year, driven in large part by a 694% increase in crypto funds sent to sanctioned entities. Sanctioned entities are receiving these. Look, we need to fix the hole in our sanctions authority and crack down on crypto money laundering. In 2022, the United States sanctioned a notorious mixer called Tornado Cash that had been used to launder more than $7 billion for criminals and foreign adversaries, including more than $450 million for a North Korean hacking group. These types of crypto services are designed to make it easy to launder a huge pile of money and making it hard for anyone, including our law enforcement officials, to tell where the money came from. They are a favorite tool for hackers, for terrorist groups, and for sanctioned regimes. But a court said Treasury needed Congress, us, to act before it would be able to sanction the mixers like Tornado Cash. So this amendment is simple. It restores the authority to isolate and sanction decentralized crypto platforms that repeatedly facilitate transactions with terrorist organizations like ISIS or Al-Qaeda, or with North Korea, Russia, or Iran. And I urge my colleagues to support this amendment.
Senator Lummis for a rebut.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The reason that's happening is because this bill is not law. When this bill becomes law, it includes robust provisions in Titles 2 and 3 to address illicit finance and sanctions. And it focuses these provisions where they'll be most effective. For example, it provides law enforcement with the tools they need to trace and disrupt money laundering, and clarifies sanctions and anti-money laundering requirements for digital asset entities. We want to discourage the illegitimate use of digital assets while encouraging the legitimate use. And we have found that balance in this bill. This amendment is not necessary. I urge that we oppose the amendment.
Mr. Chairman.
Kennedy?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Senator Kennedy.
Do I have your permission to ask Senator Warren a quick question?
15 seconds.
Yes, sir.
It'll take them that long to clear.
Senator Warren, I don't understand why this bill doesn't already accomplish the very worthy goal that you've articulated.
Chairman, may I answer?
15 seconds.
It's the tornado problem. You remember tornado, the mixer. What this amendment does is it says that the government can sanction and wall off a mixer like Tornado. What purpose does Tornado serve except to hide where the money came from and where the money's going to? And who needs to hide where the money came from and where the money's going to? It's the terrorists, it's the money launderers, it's Iran, it's the sanctioned entities. So all this is doing is it's saying, let's give the power, it doesn't actually isolate them in the bill. Let's give the power to government to say, when this is what you're doing, they can isolate you when you're dealing with these bad actors. You're mixing up the money so that you advance money laundering.
Senator Lummis, and then we'll move to the vote.
Yeah, thanks, Mr. Chairman. This bill provides for a study of the use of mixes and tumblers. They're a very complicated entity. Plus, provides $30 million to FinCEN, which does have the expertise to unravel mixes and tumblers, and already has the tools it needs to enforce.
Yeah. Can I just say on that, yes, they have the expertise, but they don't have the legal authority. A court has said they need legal authority from Congress so that they will be able to isolate these mixers. Right now, they can't do that. So put your money in if you're a terrorist, go use Tornado, and know that there will be virtually no chance of being caught. And that this is how Iran can stay in the game and keep using its money.
Right.
This is how North Korea stays in. I'm sorry.
Certainly. Rebut, Senator Lummis. Bill solves that problem?
Yes, Title II and III. And it's in illicit finance sanctions focus on providing law enforcement with the tools they need to trace and disrupt money laundering, including mixes
A
and
study.
tumblers. Well, the law enforcement tools are also in this bill.
Clerk, call the roll. No?
Mr. Crapo?
No.
Mr. Rounds?
No.
Mr. Tillis?
No.
Mr. Kennedy?
No.
Mr. Haggerty?
Haggerty's no.
Ms. Lummis?
No,
Mrs. Britt? Mr. Ricketts? Mr. Banks? Mr. Kramer?
No.
Mr. Moreno? Mr. McCormick?
No.
Ms. Warren?
Yes.
Mr. Reed?
Yes.
Mr. Warner?
Aye.
Mr. Van Hollen?
Yes, by proxy.
Ms. Cortez Masto? Ms. Smith? Mr. Warnock? Mr. Kim? Mr. Gallego? Ms. Blunt Rochester? Ms. Alsobrooks?
Aye.
The vote is 11 in favor and 13 opposed.
The amendment is not adopted. We now call up McCormick, 115. Senator McCormick, you are now recognized for 2 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. To have the opportunity to introduce my amendment 115, co-sponsored with Senator Bill Haggerty. There's a long history of bipartisan support for the SEC and CFTC to provide for portfolio margining. Section 402 of the Digital Asset Market Clarity Act directs the SEC and the CFTC to jointly issue rules that enable portfolio margining across securities, swaps, futures, and digital commodity accounts held by registered dealers, FCMs, or brokers. This section is intended to allow natural risk offsets among positions to be recognized and would create greater efficiencies for investors to manage risk. However, for the portfolio margining to function properly, changes are necessary to ensure that customer protections under the Securities Investor Protection Act, SIPA, carry to CFTC regulated products in the event that a broker-dealer becomes insolvent. This amendment I'm offering today gives the SEC and CFTC the flexibility to write rules relating to SIPA with consultation from SIPC and Treasury on expanded security portfolio margin accounts. Not only is this essential for customer protection during times of market stress, but the amendment also explicitly prohibits SIPC advances from covering digital commodities or swap positions which protect traditional securities customers. Digital assets are being folded into the fabric of the financial system. This amendment recognizes that reality, and its passage is important to every single market participant, the banks, crypto, and customers. This amendment is the result of working closely with both Treasury and SIPC and represents a bipartisan agreement with my Democratic colleagues. I would ask to be adopted by voice, but I'm open to a roll call vote, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman. Voice, if everybody,
I'd like to respond, if
Certainly.
I could. Thank you. Section 402 of this bill directs the CFTC and SEC to issue a joint rulemaking that will facilitate portfolio margining across a wide variety of categories of a lot of diverse instruments, including crypto. Now, as everyone here knows, portfolio margining allows calculation of margin requirements based on the overall portfolio rather than by individual position, and it has the effect of lowering margin requirements for trading. Lower margin requirements increase leverage and therefore increase risk in the system. Excessive leverage in our financial system has time and time again been a culprit in crashes that harm not just our financial markets, but spread to the real economy. The bill is set to unleash unregulated crypto upon our economy. It would also increase leverage across a range of different asset classes and regulatory regimes. I appreciate that Amendment 115 takes some steps toward protecting consumers from the havoc of this new regime, but it is not enough. The amendment further seems to remove SIPC protections from accounts with crypto, which highlights one of the real paradoxes in this bill. It pushes more of the market into crypto and removes protections for investors and removes recourse for victims. That is the wrong direction to go in.
all right.
When this blows up at the economy, I hope everybody remembers their.
Mr. Chairman. Actually, we're out of time, actually.
Here.
I'm gonna stick with our 2 minutes, 1 minute as much as possible. Voice vote? All in favor, say aye.
Aye. I'd like to have a recorded vote on this. I think this one's gonna matter in history.
Clerk will call the roll. Chairman. Aye.
Mr. Crapo?
Aye.
Mr. Rounds?
Aye.
Mr. Tillis?
Sorry.
Mr. Kennedy? Mr. Haggerty?
Haggerty's aye.
Ms. Lummis? Mrs. Britt? Mr. Ricketts? Mr. Banks?
Aye by proxy.
Mr. Kramer? Mr. Moreno?
Aye.
Mr. McCormick?
Aye.
Ms. Warren?
No,
Mr. Reed? Mr. Warner? Mr. Van Hollen? Ms. Cortez Masto? Ms. Smith? Mr. Warnock? Mr. Kim?
The probability suggests
Mr.
that the
Geigo?
low for
Ms. Blunt Rochester? Ms. Alsobrooks?
Aye.
The vote is 18 in favor and 6 opposed.
The amendment has been adopted. We now call up Orrin 52.
thank you, Mr. Chairman. So when banks take excessive risks in pursuit of windfall profits, we know what happens next. The bets blow up, businesses on Main Street are shuttered, workers lose their jobs and retirement savings, families are thrown out of their homes, and the economy goes into recession. Oh, and then Wall Street comes to Congress and begs for bailouts and gets them. That's why our laws are supposed to keep the banks safe and sound, in part by limiting the kinds of assets that banks can own and the activities they can conduct. There are plenty of traditional assets that banks are prohibited from owning and traditional activities that banks are prohibited from conducting. This bill would throw out these sensible restrictions on crypto assets. For example, the bill allows banks to transact in the Wild West of decentralized finance, where a platform seems to face a run, get hacked, or otherwise implode pretty much every week. The bill also allows banks to lend against crypto as collateral, to own crypto directly, to trade crypto derivatives, and more. The bill also repeals a key pillar of the Dodd-Frank Act for digital assets, known as the Volcker Rule. The bill allows bank holding companies to buy and sell digital assets for any investment or trading purpose, including the type of dangerous proprietary trading and hedge fund activities that helped cause the 2008 crash. Look, innocent businesses and families that have never even heard of the blockchain will suffer if the next crypto crash also causes a banking crash. My amendment would strike these dangerous provisions from the bill. I urge my colleagues to vote for Warren 52.
60 seconds.
Thank you,
Senator
Mr.
Owens.
Chairman. There are 3 states that already allow banks to do this. One is Virginia, Wyoming, Louisiana. And after this bill passes, other states will allow it to do it. The bank permissibility language in our legislation does one thing. It simply confirms that banks can use digital assets to conduct activities that they already allow to perform by law. The US dollar is going to be digitized. It is going to be a digital asset. And so we need to integrate all of these assets into the banks that are allowed to do them to continue to do them. There are no special carve-outs. This amendment would strike 3 key provisions of the bill related to bank permissibility, portfolio margining, and netting agreements. I urge my colleagues to oppose this amendment.
Clerk will call the roll.
The chairman,
Nope.
Mr. Crapo?
No.
Mr. Rounds?
No.
Mr. Tillis?
No.
Mr. Kennedy?
No.
Mr. Haggerty?
Haggerty's no.
Ms. Lummis?
No,
Mrs. Britt? Mr. Ricketts? Mr. Banks?
No by proxy?
Mr. Kramer? No. Mr. Moreno? No. Mr. McCormick? No. Ms. Warren?
Yes.
Mr. Reed?
Aye.
Mr. Warner?
Aye.
Mr. Van Hollen?
Aye.
Ms. Cortez Masto? Ms. Smith?
Aye.
Mr. Warnock?
Aye.
Mr. Kim? Mr. Gallego? Ms. Blunt Rochester?
Aye.
Ms. Alsobrooks?
Aye.
The vote is 11 in favor and 13 opposed.
The amendment is not agreed to. We now call up Warren 66.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So Jeffrey Epstein was an early backer of crypto. He poured millions of dollars into Coinbase, one of the biggest benefactors of this bill, if it becomes law. And that's no surprise. Epstein recognized crypto's potential as a tool to covertly facilitate illicit payments. But as the crypto ecosystem was new and just developing, Wall Street banks were happy to provide the financial services that Epstein needed to facilitate his crimes. You might think that big banks would have severed their ties with Epstein following his 2008 conviction for soliciting a child for sex, and you would be wrong. For more than a decade, banks like JP Morgan, Deutsche Bank, and Bank of America generated massive fees off of Epstein's business while ignoring very obvious red flags. It wasn't until Epstein was arrested once again in 2019 that JP Morgan finally disclosed more than 4,700 transactions made between 1998 and 2013, totaling more than $1 billion, including payments to Russian banks and young women. I have called on President Trump's bank regulators to use their authorities to investigate the bank executives that helped facilitate Jeffrey Epstein's crimes and to turn over any information they have gathered over the years to Congress. And so far, they haven't lifted a finger. This amendment would require the federal banking regulators to publish any bank examination records related to Epstein and his co-conspirators. What did the banks know and when did they know it? Did bank regulators spot anything that should have set off alarms? Answers to those questions may be buried in the banking regulators' confidential supervisory records. Some sunlight might help prevent Wall Street and crypto companies from funding the next Jeffrey Epstein. I urge my colleagues to support Warren 66.
Mr. Chairman, confidential supervisory information is not germane to digital asset market structure. The Epstein files have nothing to do with this bill. I urge my colleagues to oppose the amendment.
Clerk will call the roll.
Mr. Chairman, can I ask a question?
The point of order?
Sure. I just wanted to ask Senator Warren, how are you defining co-conspirators?
This is exactly what we want to find out. When you don't have the information, you don't know. But what we do know is that Jeffrey Epstein was using crypto early on, that he was involved in illicit financial transactions, that three of the largest financial
I'm
institutions.
sorry, I get that. But you say the regulators have to release stuff about Epstein and his co-conspirators. How are they going to know who his co-conspirators are?
Well, they have already been named in court documents. One is identified is Ghislaine Maxwell as an identified convicted co-conspirator. And I think her record should be released as well.
I look forward to you all continuing this conversation after the hearing. Clerk will call the roll. No.
Mr. Crapo?
No.
Mr. Rounds?
No.
Mr. Tillis? Mr. Kennedy? Mr. Haggerty?
Haggerty's no.
Ms. Lummis? Mrs. Britt? Mr. Ricketts? Mr. Banks?
No by proxy?
Mr. Kramer? No. Mr. Moreno?
No.
Mr. McCormick?
No.
Ms. Warren?
Yes.
Mr. Reed? Mr. Warner? Mr. Van Hollen? Ms. Cortez Masto? Ms. Smith? Mr. Warnock? Mr. Kim? Mr. Gallego? Ms. Blunt Rochester? Ms. Also Brooks?
Aye.
The vote is 11 in favor and 13 opposed.
The amendment is not agreed to. We will now move to,
Mr. Chairman, I'm going to get in trouble again, I
Yes,
know,
sir.
but I've got another point of order. I would consider voting for this amendment if you think about taking out co-conspirators.
I'd be glad to amend it. Yes, the author of the amendment accepts the
Well,
proposed change.
Mr. Chair, point of order, the vote's been held, the amendment's been disposed of. That would require an additional amendment at this time.
the amendment is not agreed to. We will now move to call up Reed number 90.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. My amendment allows the government to block foreign illicit transactions that occur using stable coins as if they were dollars in a bank. This will primarily crack down on Iran's use of stable coins to fund their nuclear program, support terrorist proxies, and engage with our forces at the present time. According to blockchain analytics firm TRM Labs, Iran continues to use cryptocurrency to source sensitive goods. Chinese chip resellers have shown the willingness and capability to supply drone components, electrical equipment, AI critical hardware, et cetera. And these unmanned systems, these drones, are what is wreaking havoc on our forces and our allies in the Persian Gulf today. We've lost 14 Americans and hundreds wounded, and the money can be traced back, much of it, to stablecoins. Now, Iran is also accepting tolls in stablecoins at the Strait of Hormuz, and they're making money on that too. Now, Treasury cannot shut down this operation. Excuse me. They have to go hat in hand to Tether and say, please, Tether, would you voluntarily stop doing this? We need structures. If everyone stands around here and talks about how much they support the troops, if you really support the troops, cut off the funding for the Iranians.
Rebuttal? Senator
Chairman.
Haggerty, please.
Mr. Chairman, the bill that we're voting on today already includes dedicated illicit finance and sanctions provisions for digital assets. Title II and Title III address anti-money laundering, sanctions compliance, information sharing, digital asset kiosks, DeFi risk controls, and other illicit financing risks. The amendment creates a broad extraterritorial rule for dollar-denominated stablecoins. I'm concerned that actually could undermine responsible use of stablecoins abroad. So I'm going to urge my colleagues to oppose Senator Reed's amendment.
Mr. President?
Clerk will call the roll. No.
Mr. Crapo?
No by proxy?
Mr. Rounds? Mr. Tillis? Mr. Kennedy? Mr. Haggerty?
Haggerty's no.
Ms. Lummis? Mrs. Britt? Mr. Ricketts? Mr. Banks? Mr. Kramer? Mr. Moreno? Mr. McCormick?
No.
Ms. Warren?
Yes.
Mr. Reed?
Aye.
Mr. Warner?
Aye.
Mr. Van Hollen?
Aye.
Ms. Cortez Masto? Ms. Smith? Mr. Warnock? Mr. Kim? Mr. Gallego? Ms. Blunt Rochester? Ms. Also Brooks?
Aye.
The vote is 11 in favor and 13 opposed.
The amendment is not agreed to. We will now move to Reed, number 100. Senator?
Thank you very much, Mr.
Yes, sir.
Chairman. My amendment number 100 attempts to do what I tried to do in the Genius Act, which was to make the U.S. dollar the official currency of the United States of America, and it cannot be replaced by alternatives as legal tender. I was struck when Senator Loomis said that the dollar will be digitized, and I think that's the plan of many people. And if it is digitized, the dollar will no longer be controlled by the Federal Reserve. It'll be controlled by companies like World Financial. And that I don't think is a good development for the United States, our economy, or the world. And my amendment would also ensure that the dollar cannot be supplanted by currencies like the Chinese yuan and others. So I think we've got to move and make this very clear. Everyone will nod and say, of course, the dollar is always going to be the currency of the United States. As I said, as I've heard today, the dollar will be digitized. And if we don't recognize that, prepare for it, a shame on us. Thank you, Mr. President.
Yes, sir. Rebuttal?
Mr. Chairman,
Senator Moreno?
this amendment's outside the scope of the bill before us. The Clarity Act is a market structure bill. It does not make crypto legal tender. It does not require any state to accept crypto for taxes. It does not disturb the status of the United States dollar as legal tender. This amendment tries to resolve a broader issue that is not necessary to the framework we are considering today. We should keep the focus on building a workable regulatory structure for digital assets, not add unrelated legal tender language. And on a personal note, in 2016, I became the first person in the United States of America to pay my taxes with Bitcoin to show the capabilities of the technology. Had I met the senator from Rhode Island, I would not have done that, as I paid $3,000 in taxes with 2 Bitcoin. So I would absolutely be in a better spot had I not done that. So we should have met each other back then.
Well, if I may, Mr. Chairman,
You have about 9 seconds.
9 seconds. I just repeat again what Senator Loomis said. Dollars will be digitized. If we don't make it clear that digital currencies can and may supplant the dollar, we'll be in very difficult economic position.
We will move on. I do want to make a note that the $3,000 that you used for the Bitcoin would today be worth how much?
Too soon.
Okay, thank you. Just wanted to make sure that point was clear. The clerk will call the roll.
The chairman? Mr. Crapo? Mr. Rounds? Mr. Tillis? Mr. Kennedy? Mr. Haggerty?
Haggerty's no.
Ms. Lummis? Mrs. Britt? Mr. Ricketts? Mr. Banks? Mr. Kramer? Mr. Moreno?
No.
Mr. McCormick?
No.
Ms. Warren?
Aye.
Mr. Reed?
Aye.
Mr. Warner?
Aye.
Mr. Van Hollen?
Aye.
Ms. Cortez Masto? Ms. Smith?
Aye.
Mr. Warnock?
Aye.
Mr. Kim? Mr. Geigo? Ms. Blunt Rochester?
Aye.
Ms. Also Brooks?
Aye.
The vote is 11 in favor and 13 opposed.
Thank you. The amendment is not adopted. We will now call up Warner 131, but to answer the question of Senator Moreno, the answer is $161,774.
Well, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I want to start by thanking you and your staff. We have worked through thousands of hours. I want to particularly thank Senator Lummis. I can't think of a piece of legislation that I've spent more time on. I voted for Genius because I thought we needed a stablecoin basis in this country. And I think we need a market structure bill for this country as well. And I will look forward to continuing to work on this past committee. Now, I also, though, want to take a moment to acknowledge, I think, a continued good faith from the chairman and Senator Lummis. There are a series of bipartisan amendments that we worked on this morning that you've accepted. So I, again, absolutely trust that we can get this done. My amendment, and I just, particularly for my friends sitting in the audience, reflects the language that my Republican colleagues and the White House accepted on DeFi. Now, we have worked dramatically since that time, hearing some of the industry's concerns. We've made over 40 changes, and most of that will be included, I think, in Senator Lummis's amendments. I still think there are some issues to work through, particularly to make sure that law enforcement has the tools it needs to make sure bad actors can't find a way to work around this framework. Make sure senior government officials can't use these tools to enrich themselves. I'm committed to working to get a bill that moves this bill forward on the floor. I guess I've often said I've been in crypto hell the last couple of months. I hope to get to crypto heaven. I guess I'm right now in crypto purgatory, but I'm looking forward to getting all the way there. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And I withdraw my amendment.
Thank you. I'll now call up, actually, before I do so, we are around 11:45, which means that we're about 17 minutes away from the 2-hour window and would need permission to continue beyond that.
We are glad to continue beyond that.
Great, thank you. I will now call up Senator Van Hollen's number 33.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
I'm just going to watch this
Last year, the volume
until it's
of
over,
digital assets involved in
and
illicit
then
activities
I'll go to the
blew
regular
through
live stream.
all previous records.
I also
By one
posted a
estimate,
video today if you guys want to check that out.
$154 billion was sent to illicit crypto wallets, up from $59 billion in 2024. Decentralized finance, DeFi services play an important role in this illicit ecosystem. I think we all know that. Bad actors use tools like tumblers and mixers to launder money, evade law enforcement, and move funds. Just look at what North Korean hackers did last year. They hacked $1.5 billion from the crypto exchange Bybit, and then used DeFi services and exchanges to switch between crypto tokens to launder funds and evade investigators. These are funds that can now help support the North Korean nuclear program or other illicit activities. Or look at Iran. Iranian actors have been documented using DeFi exchanges and techniques to launder funds and evade sanctions. In some cases, it's clear that these DeFi tools are created because their developers plan to profit from illicit activity. They know that bad actors will exploit these tools. In fact, that's the whole point for some of them. And so we need to hold them accountable. Addressing the illicit finance risk in DeFi overall is not straightforward. We know that. But this amendment is straightforward, and it's limited and simple. It would simply make it unlawful to release a DeFi protocol for the express purpose of enabling money laundering, sanctions, evasion, and financing of terrorism. That's what it does. There should be consequences if you set out to enable drug traffickers, scammers, North Korea or Iran, and I hope my colleagues will agree with that premise and support this amendment.
Rebuttal?
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, in this bill, we've tried to use existing statutes and embed digital assets under them, whether it's the SEC, the CFTC, or criminal penalties. So the same conduct that the gentleman is trying to address is already chargeable today under 18 U.S.C. 1956 and 1957 and existing sanctions laws. So if somebody builds or uses software to launder criminal proceeds or evade sanctions, prosecutors can already bring cases under these statutes without needing a specific DeFi add-on. So if you carve out one thing for specific treatment, it sends a signal that DeFi software is not welcome in this country, and we don't want to send that signal. We want to use the existing strictures and embed digital assets in the U.S. So for that reason, I oppose the amendment.
Clerk will call the roll. No.
Mr. Crapo?
No.
Mr. Rounds?
No.
Mr. Tillis? No. Mr. Kennedy?
No by proxy.
Mr. Haggerty?
Haggerty's no.
Ms. Lummis? No. Mrs. Britt? No. Mr. Ricketts? No. Mr. Banks? Mr. Kramer?
No.
Mr. Moreno? Mr. McCormick?
No.
Ms. Warren?
Yes.
Mr. Reed?
Aye.
Mr. Warner?
Aye.
Mr. Van Hollen?
Aye.
Ms. Cortez Masto?
Aye.
Ms. Smith?
Yes.
Mr. Warnock?
Aye.
Mr. Kim? Mr. Gallego? Ms. Blunt Rochester?
Aye.
Ms. Alsobrooks?
Aye.
The vote is 11 in favor and 13 opposed.
The amendment is not agreed to. We will now move to Van Hollen, number 35. Senator Van Hollen.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This amendment is straightforward. It's designed to prevent conflict of interests and self-dealing by the president or members of the House or the Senate. It also requires greater transparency. We have all seen the president and members of his family involved in corrupt crypto ventures and various crypto scams. Through World Liberty Financial, the Trump family has raked in billions in profits, much of it obtained through corrupt deals with members of the UAE royal family. In fact, we've heard testimony from witnesses before this committee about that. And the Trump and Melania meme coins have allowed Trump to rake in hundreds of millions, if not more, in cash, even as investors lost $4.3 billion. The way that scam works is that whether retail investors win or lose, Trump is like the house at the casino. He always wins. And what this amendment does is very simple. We're letting the American public know, we're letting the people know that we're not going to allow self-dealing by the president or members of the House and Senate and others who have direct control and influence over these operations, as witnessed by the fact that we're marking up this bill. So the people involved directly in making these policies, from the president to the Congress, should not be able to be issuers of these particular assets and coins. So that's what the amendment does, Mr. Chairman, and I ask for the yeas and nays.
Rebuttal.
Mr. Chairman,
Senator Moreno.
this is the Banking Committee, not the Judiciary Committee. The inclusion of a criminal penalty and references the Attorney General make this amendment not germane to this committee. It's out of order. I urge my colleagues to vote no. And I would also just say that as a lawyer, you should, if anybody, respect the fact that people are innocent in this country to proven guilty. You're making conclusive comments about a person who's a good man who serves this nation. And to say with no knowledge that he is committing a crime is a disgrace. We can have political conversations about policies. We don't have to turn everything into ad hominem attacks against the President of the United States.
Clerk will call the
Well,
roll.
the chairman, allow me just to respond briefly, because I was clear, Senator, that the deal with World Liberty Financial has all the markings of a corrupt deal. as you know, the president decided to relieve some of the restrictions the United States had placed on chips and AI to the royal family just after those transactions occurred, and he departed for his trip. And of course, there was the transaction even before the inauguration that Sheikh Tahnoon made in World Liberty Financial.
Let me
So
just
there are-
reinforce the point
that-
that Senator Moreno made. Our country still affords the individual the presumption of innocence. And while we can continue the process of making allegations, I do think Senator Moreno's point is spot on. And I rarely do I speak out when you two are having a conversation or any other ones. I do think we should be very careful in this context, but let us move to the vote.
Okay. Thank you, Chairman. Of course, this amendment doesn't pass judgment on this issue. This just says the president, no matter who he is, or members of Congress.
Your comments did, not the amendment
I
itself.
used the word corrupt.
Call the
It's a
roll.
difference.
Call the
as
roll.
The gentleman knows.
The chairman?
No.
Mr. Crapo?
No.
Mr. Rounds? Mr. Tillis? Mr. Kennedy? Mr. Haggerty?
Haggerty's no.
Ms. Lummis? Mrs. Britt? Mr. Ricketts? Mr. Banks? Mr. Kramer? Mr. Moreno?
No.
Mr. McCormick?
No.
Ms. Warren?
Aye.
Mr. Reed?
Aye by proxy.
Mr. Warner?
Aye.
Mr. Van Hollen? Ms. Cortez Masto? Ms. Smith? Mr. Warnock? Mr. Kim? Mr. Gallego? Ms. Blunt Rochester? Ms. Also Brooks?
Aye.
The vote is 11 in favor and 13 opposed.
The amendment is not agreed to, so we will now move to Cortez Masto, number 22.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Let me start off by saying, similar to some of my colleagues, thank you for working together. I think we have come so far on a number of provisions in a bipartisan way, and I appreciate that. I also want to continue working with my colleagues. Senator Lummis, you've been great to work with. Thank you. And I look forward to continuing to work with you to move forward. And let me just say a couple of things. I am concerned that right now the Clarity Act would make it more difficult for law enforcement to capture criminals who use DeFi to move their illicit proceeds. In response to the work that we have been doing together on the sections, including this amendment, I have received letters from law enforcement opposing portions like this of the Clarity Act. There's 2 letters from the National Association of Assistant U.S. Attorneys who do the prosecution of that illicit activity, 2 letters from the National District Attorneys Association, 2 letters from the National Sheriff's Association, a letter from the Fraternal Order of Police, and a letter from the Major County Sheriffs of America, International Association of Chiefs of Police, Association of State Criminal Investigative Agencies, and the National Association of Police Organizations. I'd actually submit these for the record. Thank you. And the reason why is my goal has been to find common ground, because I think we have agreed that a true non-controlling developer or software provider shouldn't be subject because they're not involved in any of this activity. The concern that many of us have, including in law enforcement, was that the definition was too broad. And the bad guys are going to jump into that definition. And the bad guys we're talking about are the ones that I think Senator Kennedy, I'm sorry he's not here, was asking questions about. Those mixers and those tumblers, they are carved out of these sections. And so the goal would be to make sure that we are letting the good players still be able to innovate, and those non-controlling developers, let them do their thing, but not taking away the tools from law enforcement to be able to prosecute those individuals that pose a really kind of a public safety and national security threat. And I'm talking about folks like foreign states like South Korea and others. Excuse me, I was paying attention to the chairman. I'm trying to move very quickly now, but let me finish this. For North Korea, Iran, and others that are using this terrorist activity that unfortunately are opposed to what we are doing here in the United States, protecting our communities. So I support the crypto regulation. I voted for Genius last year. I'm ready to continue to work on this bill, but we need language to stop and punish those bad actors and give the prosecutors the tools they need to be able to do just that.
Rebuttal.
Mr. Chairman.
Senator Moreno.
First of all, to my colleague from Nevada, thank you for your hard work on all this. And I think you're absolutely working in good faith to try to get to a resolution. I agree with the sentiment of what you're saying. But this amendment would strike critical protections for non-controlling blockchain developers contained in Section 301. What makes this amendment particularly troubling is that Section 301 is specifically drafted to distinguish between so-called decentralized finance protocols that are decentralized in name only. We actually came up with a name that Republicans don't always love, being called rhinos. We call this one dinos. And protocols that are genuinely decentralized and not operated by centralized intermediaries behind the scenes. If this legislation already recognizes that distinction and applies appropriate regulatory standards to actors who retain control over a protocol, it makes little sense to simultaneously eliminate protections for developers of truly decentralized systems that lack a controlling intermediary. In practice, this amendment would introduce regulatory uncertainty. I could go on, but here's what I would say. What Senator Lummis said earlier, let's work together to figure out a way to get a landing spot where you're comfortable, we support law enforcement, and we make certain that there's accountability in this. But for this amendment, I urge my colleagues to vote no.
Clerk will call the roll. Nope.
Mr. Crabo? No. Mr. Rounds?
No.
Mr. Tillis? No. Mr. Kennedy?
No by proxy.
Mr. Haggerty?
Haggerty's no.
Ms. Lummis? Mrs. Britt? Mr. Ricketts? Mr. Banks? Mr. Kramer?
No.
Mr. Moreno? Mr. McCormick?
No by proxy.
Ms. Warren?
Aye.
Mr. Reed?
Aye.
Mr. Warner?
Aye.
Mr. Van Hollen?
Aye.
Ms. Cortez Masto? Ms. Smith? Mr. Warnock? Mr. Kim? Mr. Gallego? Ms. Blunt Rochester? Ms. Alsobrooks?
Aye.
The vote is 11 in favor and 13 opposed.
The amendment is not agreed to. We will now move to call up Smith number 119. Senator Smith, you're now recognized, ma'am.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I would like to offer my amendment, Smith number 119. So this amendment would incorporate Senator Durbin's No Bailout for Crypto Act, which I joined him in introducing last year. We can all agree, I think, that crypto assets are incredibly volatile, and a single tweet can cause prices to fluctuate wildly. Bitcoin, for example, lost nearly a third of its value since hitting an all-time high just in October. Ethereum's value has more than halved since its peak, and these are just two of the most dominant assets in the crypto market. Nearly $2 trillion worth of crypto asset value was lost in the crypto crash of 2022. And I'm quite concerned, Mr. Chair, in its current form, that this bill that we're considering today all but ensures that the next crash is even bigger than that. So what this amendment does is simply to prohibit federal agencies from bailing out the digital asset industry, preventing U.S. taxpayers from being on the hook if that happens, when that happens. I want to just thank Senator Durbin for his leadership on this issue, and I urge my colleagues to support this amendment.
Senator Lummis for rebuttal.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The Clarity Act does not authorize a bailout of the digital asset industry. It creates rules for the digital asset markets. It doesn't create a rescue fund, a guarantee, or a taxpayer backstop. The amendment's unnecessary, and it distracts from the purpose of the bill. We should be focused on building a clear regulatory framework, not suggesting that this bill authorizes something it does not.
Mr. Chair. This amendment, I would just say, does not suggest, it only is a preventative measure. It protects the taxpayers from future decisions to bail out the crypto industry.
Clerk will call the roll. Nope.
Mr. Crapo?
No.
Mr. Rounds? No. Mr. Tillis? No. Mr. Kennedy?
No.
Mr. Haggerty?
Haggerty's no.
Ms. Lummis?
No.
Mrs. Britt?
No by proxy?
Mr. Ricketts? Mr. Banks? Mr. Kramer? Mr. Moreno? Mr. McCormick?
No.
Ms. Warren?
Aye.
Mr. Reed?
Aye.
Mr. Warner?
Aye.
Mr. Van Hollen? Ms. Cortez Masto? Ms. Smith? Mr. Warnock? Mr. Kim? Mr. Geigo? Ms. Blunt Rochester? Ms. Alsobrooks?
Aye.
The vote is 11 in favor and 13 opposed.
The amendment
Mr.
is-
Chairman, I asked to be recorded as present.
Thank you.
Thank
And a no.
I don't know.
Thank you. The amendment is not agreed to. We will now call up Warnock 121.
Mr. Chairman, I intend to call up Amendment Warnock 121. Thank you. My amendment further
Type 1
strengthens
if you're
this
bullish,
bill's
type 2
consumer and investor
if you're
protections.
bearish.
We made great progress over the past
I hope
several
not too many
months
people
of
are shorting.
negotiation, and I would
Let's see.
like to thank Senator Lummis and Chair Scott for working with me on compromise provisions to ensure all consumers and investors are protected from fraud in digital assets. I regret that those compromises are not fully reflected in the text of today's bill, but I'm hopeful that we can continue to work together on this, especially since the Ag Committee's partisan half of this bill is so weak on consumer protection, and frankly, it's a non-starter for Democrats on the floor. But I do want to echo what my colleague, Senator Van Hollen, and others have said. The president's self-dealing with digital assets is pure corruption. And everyone in this room knows that. Whether his dealings are illegal is a matter of legislation, and that's the work we're engaged in. But there's no doubt that this is pure corruption. And the majority has refused to agree to enforceable guardrails around all elected officials, all of us, including the president and the vice president, to prevent them from profiting from crypto while they're supposed to be serving the public. The public deserves to know that we're working for them.
Just
and not
because
for
they're saying
ourselves.
no, it doesn't mean it's
And
negative.
the president's insistence on being engaged in the way
They're
that
saying
he's
no to
engaged
certain
in this whole
amendments,
industry
so
has cast a
changes
dark pall
in the Clarity Act,
on the whole process.
meaning they would keep it as
So he
is.
should decide whether he wants to get this done or whether he wants to continue to enrich his family. Democrats have made it clear since the beginning of this process that we will not accept a crypto bill that allows the president's crypto corruption to continue. We all agree the digital assets industry needs regulatory clarity, but I cannot support this bill in its current form and will be voting no this morning. I look
SFP.
forward to continuing to work in
Let's
a
see it.
bipartisan manner with all of you on a bill that has strong ethical standards with strong consumer and investor protections. And it is in that spirit of good faith compromise that I withdraw my amendment, and I will not seek a vote. Thank you, Mr. Chair or Reverend Dr. Chair. I withdraw my amendment.
Thank you, Senator Dr. Reverend. I will now call up Kim, number 24.
Thank you, Chairman. I believe in innovation in financial services, want to harness the opportunity of emerging technologies. And that's why I did support the Genius Act last year. And I believe that this innovation can be achieved while also working to stop cartels, state sponsors of terrorism, foreign terrorist organizations from exploiting the technology. I worked for years on countering terrorist financing before I came into Congress, and I saw how we can find these types of important balances. And I heard from industry leaders how they don't want their products and tools to be used by terrorist groups, and they don't also said that a one-size-fits-all regulation is not the answer. They also said that frameworks of the past may not be fully applicable to the emerging technologies of tomorrow. To those points, I agree, which is why I'm offering this amendment to modernize the Bank Secrecy Act by adding a new category of financial institutions that would allow us to go after cartels, state sponsors of terrorism, and foreign terrorist organizations that are trying to take advantage of the emerging technologies. At the same time, my amendment preserves innovation and growth for true DeFi, because I know that a one-size-fits-all framework does not work. I support DeFi technology, entrepreneurs, and developers, and I believe that innovation can grow without allowing terrorist resources to grow. So let's meet the moment with a common sense update to the BSA while continuing to encourage innovation in the industries here in the United States. I urge my colleagues to vote yes on this amendment. And with that, I'll yield back.
Thank you. Senator Lemus.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, thank you. This amendment's not needed because the bill in Title II already includes a section that accomplishes just what this amendment contemplates. It directs FinCEN and the CFTC to apply the Bank Secrecy Act to digital commodity brokers, dealers, and exchanges, and it does it in a very precise manner. So I encourage the proponent to check out Title II and also look at Titles 2 and 3 on money laundering and illicit finance. This bill, our bill, I think references the BSA 16 times. And if I counted correctly, and I don't think there's a single reference to BSA in the House passed bill. So we're really tying BSA into our bill. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Clerk will call the roll.
Chairman?
No.
Mr. Crapo?
No.
Mr. Rounds? No. Mr. Tillis? Mr. Kennedy? Mr. Haggerty?
Haggerty's no.
Ms. Lummis?
No?
Mrs. Britt?
No.
Mr. Ricketts? Mr. Banks? Mr. Kramer? Mr. Moreno? Mr. McCormick? Ms. Warren?
Aye.
Mr. Reed?
Aye.
Mr. Warner?
Aye.
Mr. Van Hollen? Ms. Cortez Masto? Ms. Smith? Mr. Warnock? Mr. Kim? Mr. Gallego? Ms. Blunt Rochester? Ms. Alsobrooks?
Aye.
The vote is 11 in favor and 13 opposed.
The amendment is not agreed to. We will now call up Gallego number 18.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair, Ranking Member, and thank you for the whole markup. This has been, to say the least, a very long and difficult process. And it's been great, though, working with Senator Lummis, Senator Tillis. Okay, time working with Moreno. To be honest. But we really have spent the better time of last year in countless meetings, long nights, and working through holidays. And really, at its best, the Senate learns together, finds common ground, and legislates. This is what this process demanded of us, and it's not an easy bill, as we all know, and it's exactly what we try to do. And after working on Genius Act, and we all remember that ordeal, we all learned that solving issues on the front end makes for better legislation. And we took that seriously here, and for very, very good reason. What Congress is attempting to do here is creating regulations for an entirely new sector of our financial system, and it is a massive undertaking. 67 million Americans own digital assets. We owe it to these people, many of whom are young and simply trying to achieve financial independence, to get this right. With 1 in 4 Americans now invested in digital assets, we cannot afford to wait. We also cannot afford to get this wrong. And that's the balance we are trying to strike. Through serious bipartisan negotiations, we have made incredible progress on this bill. We have narrowed the gap on many of the outstanding issues. We did serious bipartisan work on genuinely difficult questions about regulatory jurisdiction, consumer disclosure requirements, crypto ATMs, and to name a few. I want to be clear that my vote here does not guarantee a vote on the floor. After today, we need to connect with our Agricultural Committee colleagues and collapse negotiations into one and all sit at the table. And perhaps the toughest issue of all, we have come close, but have not finished, an agreement on ethics guardrail for elected officials, all elected officials. We need real enforceable standards for what it is and is not acceptable for someone who holds the public trust and shouldn't be able to profit off an industry that they enforce or regulate. But we will continue to work. I am looking forward to continue working. Mr. Tillis and Ranking Member Chairman Lummis and I have talked about this, how we're going to continue working. And I hope to see that we don't have any more backsliding and can move forward and hopefully finish this. So I withdraw my Gallego amendment number 18, and we'll in committee vote yes. But if this is not resolved by the time of the floor, like I have in the past, I am not afraid to vote no. Look forward to working together and hopefully come to a solution. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. We will now move, Senator Also Brooks has decided to offer Senator Warren's the space that she had for number 7. We will now hear from Senator Warren on amendment number 79. Senator Warren, you are now recognized.
Thank you. So the Trump administration has spent the past year trying every trick in the book to kill the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, the agency that has returned more than $21 billion directly to consumers who've been cheated by banks and giant corporations. Acting Director Vogt has dropped virtually all of the consumer agency's ongoing enforcement actions against crooks and other bad actors. He's tried to lay off almost all of its staff, and he's tried to drain its funding. People have fought back, and a federal court has prevented Trump and Vogt from fully shutting down the agency. But at the same time that Congress is debating this bill, which would dramatically expand the risk of fraud in consumer and crypto markets, the administration is busy trying to fire the cops responsible for protecting consumers. Now remember, the CFPB is the agency responsible for fighting to cap abusive overdraft fees and late fees, to strike down medical debt from consumers' credit reports, to protect service members from being charged illegal interest rates on loans, to stop families from being put out on the street with an illegal foreclosure. The CFPB is going to be more important than ever if we pass a bill unleashing new crypto scams. My amendment would ensure that the CFPB receives a consistent funding stream that is insulated from the kinds of political games the Trump administration has been playing to undermine consumer financial protection in this country. I urge my colleagues to support Warren 79.
Senator Moreno for rebuttal.
This amendment should not be adopted for one simple reason. The CFPB's budget is clearly out of the scope of this bill. It's absolutely not germane. We voted on quite a few attempted congressional review acts yesterday, and those were all voted down. And I urge my colleagues to do the same with this amendment.
May I have my last 15 seconds that I didn't use?
Sure.
And my 15 seconds are the CFPB was created right here in this committee because of fraud. If we are creating a new opportunity for expanded fraud, we need to make sure that the CFPB is fully funded.
The clerk will call the roll.
And I still have 3 seconds.
My goodness.
Chairman?
No.
Mr. Crapo? Mr. Rounds?
No.
Mr. Tillis?
No.
Mr. Kennedy? Mr. Haggerty?
Haggerty's no.
Ms. Lummis? Mrs. Britt? Mr. Ricketts? Mr. Banks? Mr. Kramer? Mr. Moreno? Mr. McCormick?
No.
Ms. Warren?
Aye. Sorry. I was
Mr. Reed?
dazzled by the chairman's comments. Like yay by proxy. I'm still dazzled.
Mr. Warner?
Aye.
Mr. Van Hollen? Ms. Cortez Masto?
Oh, aye by proxy?
Ms. Smith? Mr. Warnock?
Aye by proxy.
Mr. Kim? Mr. Gallego? Ms. Blunt Rochester? Ms. Also Brooks?
Aye.
The vote is 11 in favor and 13 opposed.
I'm going to check.
That's okay. About an hour ago, I received a request from a couple of Democrat members to add 5 amendments to make this a bipartisan outcome, and I've decided to do so.
So, Mr. Chairman, I object here. You cut 16 amendments from the members of this committee. We agreed, you said, nope, we got to our numbers and said, these are our numbers. And now, all of a sudden, you have decided to rule back in 3 amendments, I take it from Senator Lummis, that you originally ruled out because it will be more convenient because somebody gets a vote. You just said, as we started this, the rules are the rules. And that you're not going to pick and choose and say, oh, this is going to help that one along, or it's going to help that one along. That you were going to apply the rules across the board. I came in here with one set of rules and understood that that was the case. So if you're now going to rule arbitrarily that you've picked 3 out of the basket to add back in, 3 Republican amendments to add back in, then I think you should rule that all of the amendments are back in. We'd like all of the Democratic amendments back in. And I am particularly looking at Cortez Masto, number 16. This is an amendment that was requested by the National Sheriff's Association. That would make it, right now, the current bill makes it harder for law enforcement to go after cartels and criminals that are using decentralized platforms to launder money. Or how about we do Reed Smith, number 95?
I just checked. It's not my audio. Seems to be the stream.
Vote on. So it seems to me, Mr. Chairman, following the rules you announced at the beginning, either we know all the amendments when we walk in and that's the end of it, or if you're going to start opening that up, let's open it up to everyone, not just 3 amendments on the Republican side.
Actually, the amendment that we just voted on, number 79, was not agreed to as well. We substituted it based on the request of also Brooks to allow you to have that amendment, and I did so. And as you said at the beginning of this hearing, that I have the right as the chairman to pick and choose which amendments we wanted. And based on a bipartisan, which I'm not choosing between Republicans and Democrats, I'm actually choosing for Republicans and Democrats to have these final amendments in order.
You know, with respect, Mr. Chairman, you didn't say to me that if also Brooks wanted to yield her spot over for me to add another amendment, the consequence would be that Lummis would suddenly get 3 amendments that had been ruled that
Mr.
they
Chair.
would not be held and they would be out of order. I just don't understand this process.
This is a Wikipedia definition of no good deed goes unpunished. These were bipartisan bills. So, Mr. Chair, maybe instead of considering them here today with the ranking member's objections, can we just get an agreement that they'd be baked into a manager's amendment on the floor?
Yes.
No,
Good. Okay.
I think,
Point of order, yeah, go ahead.
Mr. Chairman,
Last
Yeah.
comment on the left. We'll go to closing remarks. Yes.
I would actually prefer, because of the good faith that Senator Lummis has shown, and, you know, and I intend to work more on this bill, but I would hope this would move me much closer if these amendments are not put off till the floor. but are-
Then I clearly withdraw my comment.
Yeah, point of order, Mr. Chair, just so I have clarification.
Certainly.
Because if you had included my number 16, I wouldn't be asking this question. But now I'm trying to understand. Originally, 16 was not allowed because it was ineligible based on a Scrivener's error. So were these others. But now, at the chairman's call and discretion, those are going to be allowed in, but this one not because it's still a Scrivener's error? I'm confused.
Yeah,
why-
no,
what-
let me
or is it just, and listen, I respect it, it's your call.
Yes.
If it's just that you want to let some in and some not, that's fine too. I respect that. I'm just trying to understand as we move forward.
Certainly, just no doubt that this could be confusing to folks looking on. It's a simple, actual answer. We have an opportunity to do what I think is in America's best interest, is to show that when possible, both sides can find a path forward. And in my opinion, finding that path forward requires me to allow Lummis's amendments in because that was a request of Democrat members in order to get to a bipartisan coalition and solution. And so I have made the decision that treating both sides fairly requires me to listen to both sides. And now that there are both sides coming to the table, both asking me to make a decision to allow amendments in, it's incumbent upon me to make the right decision. In my opinion, making the right decision is to allow these amendments in. So we can either do it the way that Tillis has recommended, or we can do it the way that Warner recommended, but at the end of the day.
But let me suggest, obviously, the Democrats have not agreed to this. There may be a Democrat, there may be 3 Democrats who've agreed to
Yes.
this. But the Democrats have not agreed to this. Let me ask the question the other way around, because I know you always want to be fair.
Yes.
You guys have the majority. You voted out every single thing that the Democrats have tried to put in. What is the harm to letting us vote 2 more amendments that we wanted to vote, one that is supported by law enforcement and one that is supported by community banks? We're not here to try to make this a longer process. You still have all the votes, you can keep them out, but we'd at least like to have an opportunity to vote on these 2 amendments. And then, still an unusual process, but I would call it, you are trying to be fair here. Otherwise, you've just said, I'm gonna pick the people who I think are gonna put together the deal that is the deal you like. It's not the deal I like. And so either we get the same kind of parity, we get the same kind of courtesy afforded each other. We're just asking for 2 amendments. You're getting 3 here. And
Excellent.
let us vote on those 2. I don't know what the harm is of voting. You guys, we get it. You'll probably vote no, but you ought to at least have to hear it.
Actually, I think it's 4 or 5 amendments. But
I'm only asking 2.
I understand. I think the answer is a simple one. Again, about 11:05, we informed your team that there was a bipartisan coalition asking for more amendments that I had taken out. I decided to listen to the bipartisan conversation and come to the conclusion that it was worth moving on. And that is what I'm going to do. And with Senator Warner and other members of your side reinforcing my point, I think the best thing to do is to accept those amendments, hear them, and hear the rebuttals.
I just want to say I'm deeply concerned that law enforcement officials will listen to this and wonder why their point of view couldn't be heard. That community banks will listen to this and wonder why their point of view just couldn't be heard. That's all anyone's asking for. It's 2 minutes in order to get the amendment out, a minute by way of rebuttal, and we're done. But we came in here, lived with the fact that you said, sorry, can't do those, but part of your statement was, and sorry, there are Republican things we can't do as well. So the Democratic position, look, our position should be, it's all of them, but we're willing, I'm just going to say on behalf of my colleagues here, we're willing to settle just for these 2.
And now I'll call up Lummis number 122.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And I would request a voice vote as opposed to a roll call vote on this. Okay. Mr. Chairman, I call up my amendment 122 and ask that page 4, lines 1 and 2 be stricken, and I urge its adoption. These are changes to clarify the circumstances in which a DeFi protocol is decentralized in name only and is actually controlled by a small group of persons. And I want to thank Senator Warner for working with me on this.
Rebuttal?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. Look, this amendment makes some technical fixes to Section 301 of the bill. It's hard to fix something that's fundamentally broken. Section 301 sets a narrow test for what counts as a crypto intermediary that few will ever meet. It also incorporates Section 604, the same loophole that shields decentralized services from basic anti-money laundering rules, as law enforcement experts have stressed. It doesn't matter if you have rules if nobody has to follow them. The amendment doesn't fix any of those issues, and I urge all my colleagues to oppose this amendment.
I move to strike pages 4, lines 1 and 2. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
I call for a roll call vote.
Had a feeling. Clerk will call the roll. Aye.
Mr. Crapo?
Aye.
Mr. Rounds?
Aye.
Mr. Tillis? Mr. Kennedy? Mr. Haggerty?
Haggerty's aye.
Ms. Lummis?
Aye.
Mrs. Britt? Mr. Ricketts? Mr. Banks? Mr. Kramer? Mr. Moreno? Mr. McCormick? Ms. Warren?
No.
Mr. Reed?
No.
Mr. Warner?
Aye.
Mr. Van Hollen?
No.
Ms. Cortez Masto?
Aye.
Ms. Smith?
No.
Mr. Warnock?
I guess by proxy.
Mr. Kim? Mr. Gallego? Ms. Blunt Rochester? Ms. Alsobrooks?
Aye.
The vote is 18 in favor and 6 opposed.
Mr. Chairman, could I ask just one parliamentary inquiry? Because I am confused on the process. I understand there were some amendments that were disqualified because of Scrivener's error. And Senator Lummis had some of those, and some of our colleagues had some of those. And I understand the desire to put those back into the mix and have votes. I had amendments that were drawn properly, that were not disqualified at all, including one on anti-touting, Van Hollen 34, and Van Hollen 29 on fair disclosure of information. Those were written exactly right. And so now we're having votes on amendments that you originally declared had not been correctly drafted, and not allowing me and maybe some others to actually vote on amendments that were in order and properly drafted. How does that make sense?
During the Genius Act, we made, we came to a compromise on the number of amendments that we were going to have. It was around 40. I can't remember exactly the number that we had. But ultimately, when the ranking members side asked for how many amendments we were going to have, I chose the number that we were going to have. I gave our side 5. I gave you all 15. Ranking member chose to work with us to figure out the 15 that you all would have. And ultimately, that's how we got here.
I will just say in conclusion, Mr. Chairman, I believe it's unprecedented to kind of cap the number of in-order amendments.
Actually not.
At this kind of level.
Every, it's not unprecedented, number one. Number two, every time we do a vote arrangement, we compromise on the number of amendments that we have. When we did Genius Act, we compromised on the number of amendments we have, and we're doing it again. The clerk will now call the roll on the 18 to 6 it was. What was it?
The last one, 18 to 6.
The lines have been stricken. We will now move to the amendment itself, Lummis number 122.
The chairman?
As modified? As modified?
Yes.
Please call the roll.
The chairman?
Aye.
Mr. Crapo?
Aye.
Mr. Rounds?
Aye.
Mr. Tillis?
Aye.
Mr. Kennedy? Mr. Haggerty?
Haggerty's aye.
Ms. Lummis? Mrs. Britt? Mr. Ricketts? Mr. Banks? Mr. Kramer?
Aye.
Mr. Moreno? Mr. McCormick? Ms. Warren?
No.
Mr. Reed?
No.
Mr. Warner?
Aye.
Mr. Van Hollen?
No.
Ms. Cortez Masto?
Aye.
Ms. Smith?
No.
Mr. Warnock?
I by proxy.
Mr. Kim? Mr. Gallego? Ms. Blunt Rochester? Ms. Alsobrooks?
Aye.
The vote is 18 in favor and 6 opposed. The amendment as modified is agreed to. We now call up Lummis number 123. Senator Lummis, you are now recognized. Microphone. Thank you, ma'am.
Asking for a voice vote on 123. Mr. Chairman, Amendment 123 makes bipartisan changes with respect to activities that are permissible for banks and credit
Sailor
unions
is
to
buying like
engage in
crazy.
digital
It's his
asset
last day.
activities. These changes
talk about it
include
after.
clarifying the trading activities that banks can do and extending applicability to insured credit unions, I urge adoption and yield back.
Senator Warren is recognized for rebuttal.
This amendment makes some modest improvements to Section 401, the part of the bill that drastically expands the crypto-related activities that taxpayer-insured banks are permitted to engage in. Wow. But this
He bought
one
almost
falls
4,000
far short.
Bitcoins today.
Under this amendment, banks would be able to transact in decentralized finance, lend against crypto as collateral, own crypto directly.
I just sent a
trade
link.
Crypto derivatives and more. What could possibly go wrong? Why are Republicans trying to divert Americans' deposits away from small business lending and mortgage lending? This just makes no sense. If the bill passes, even with this amendment, the next crypto crash could bring down the banks as well and bring down the entire economy. Let's strike this section instead of trying to tweak it along the edges and pretend that that fixes this problem. I urge my colleagues to vote no on Loomis 123.
Clerk, call the roll. Yes.
Mr. Crapo?
Yes.
Mr. Rounds?
Aye.
Mr. Tillis? Mr. Kennedy? Mr. Haggerty?
Haggerty's aye.
Ms. Lummis?
Aye.
Mrs. Britt?
Aye.
Mr. Ricketts? Mr. Banks? Mr. Kramer? Mr. Moreno? Mr. McCormick? Ms. Warren?
No.
Mr. Reed?
No?
Mr. Warner?
Aye.
Mr. Van Hollen?
No.
Ms. Cortez Masto? Ms. Smith?
No.
Mr. Warnock?
I by proxy.
Mr. Kim? Mr. Gallego? Ms. Blunt Rochester? Ms. Alsobrooks?
Aye.
The vote is 19 in favor and 5 opposed.
I now call up, the amendment is agreed to. I now call up Lummis 124.
Mr. Chairman, Amendment 124 changes an or, strikes an or and adds an and to Section 505 to ensure that the SEC properly carries out a rulemaking for the protection of investors and the benefit of our financial markets. I thank my Democrat colleagues for bringing this amendment to my attention, and I urge everyone to support it.
Senator Warren for a rebuttal.
Look, the problem of tokenization is one of the biggest problems with this bill. And the fix that this amendment proposes in Section 505 gives the idea of a fig leaf a bad name. It is so inadequate. This amendment, through a minor improvement on that section, does not do nearly enough to protect our system from the harm of this bill. As I have said before, the bill creates a system of easy regulation for crypto and easy ways out of securities regulation to this new easy street for crypto. And then to stop the inevitable flow of capital from our traditional markets into crypto that this incentive system will cause, Section 505 ostensibly imposes a requirement of regulatory parity between securities and tokenized securities. It would be one thing if the bill left it at that, but it goes on to weaken that already anemic fix by providing that the SEC actually can treat securities like assets differently in light of the unique technological characteristics of crypto or consistent with the public interest and protecting investors. While the amendment would instead require the SEC to base its exceptions on the unique characteristics of crypto and whether or not it is in the interest of the public and investors, it does nothing to change the fact that this exception to the requirement of regulatory parity threatens to swallow the entire rule. I urge my colleagues to oppose it.
Clerk will call the roll. Yes.
Mr. Crapo?
Aye.
Mr. Rounds?
Aye.
Mr. Tillis? Mr. Kennedy? Mr. Haggerty?
Haggerty's aye.
Ms. Lummis?
Aye.
Mrs. Britt?
Aye.
Mr. Ricketts? Mr. Banks? Mr. Kramer? Mr. Moreno? Mr. McCormick? Ms. Warren?
No.
Mr. Reed?
No.
Mr. Warner?
Aye.
Mr. Van Hollen?
No.
Ms. Cortez Masto? Ms. Smith?
No.
Mr. Warnock?
Aye by proxy.
Mr. Kim? Mr. Gallego? Ms. Blunt Rochester?
No.
Ms. Alsobrooks?
Aye.
The vote is 18 in favor and 11 opposed, or 6 opposed.
The amendment is agreed to. We now go to Lummis 125. Senator Lummis, you are recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I urge adoption of amendment number 125. This amendment adds a bipartisan provision to address insider trading for ancillary assets. And I want to thank my colleagues on this committee for the work we all did together to come to an agreement on this amendment. I'm proud of all of us, and I urge support.
Senator Warren for rebuttal.
Well, at face value, this amendment applies existing security laws prohibiting insider trading to crypto assets, and that's a goal I would wholeheartedly support if it were even close to enough to address the issue. But this amendment attempts to use a wine cork to plug a school bus-sized hole that is created in our securities laws by this bill. Look, at its core, the bill provides easier rules for crypto and easy ways for them to escape securities regulation and get to this more lax regulatory environment. Issuers of securities only have to put securities on the blockchain and then self-certify that securities laws don't apply, and the rules start to fall away. So while the amendment calls for ancillary assets to be covered by insider trading prohibitions, it does absolutely nothing to address the fact that the bill has created so many routes for instruments that share all the features of securities not to be considered ancillary assets at all, and therefore to be totally exempt from the securities laws, including the ones addressed by this amendment. So while I support stamping out insider trading in all its forms, this fix is far from adequate to address the issue, and it gives the public a false sense of security that somehow they're going to be safe from insider trading in crypto, because they will not be safe. The insiders are going to run the game. So I urge my colleagues to vote no.
The clerk will call the roll. Yes.
Mr. Crapo?
Aye.
Mr. Rounds?
Aye.
Mr. Tillis?
Aye.
Mr. Kennedy? Mr. Haggerty?
Haggerty's aye.
Ms. Lummis?
Aye.
Mrs. Britt?
Aye.
Mr. Ricketts? Mr. Banks? Mr. Kramer? Mr. Moreno? Mr. McCormick? Ms. Warren?
No.
Mr. Reed?
No.
Mr. Warner?
Aye.
Mr. Van Hollen?
No.
Ms. Cortez Masto? Ms. Smith?
No.
Mr. Warnock?
Aye by proxy.
Mr. Kim? Mr. Gallego? Ms. Blunt Rochester? Ms. Alsobrooks?
Aye.
The vote is 18 in favor and 6 opposed.
The amendment is agreed to. And now I'll call up Lummis 126. Senator Lummis, you are now recognized.
Mr. Chairman, I move amendment number 126 and encourage its adoption. The purpose is to provide investor and consumer protection enforcement. This is bipartisan to provide for a system of regulation of the offer and sale of digital commodities by the SEC and CFTC. And I encourage and I thank again my colleagues for working on this on a bipartisan basis and urge its adoption.
Ranking Member Warren is recognized for rebuttal.
So I think we should call this one Fig Leaf number 9. This amendment claims to restore state-level consumer and investor protections and the ability of harmed investors to sue, but it is so riddled with exceptions and caveats and loopholes that it's pretty much meaningless. Now, to be clear, one of the bill's most serious fatal flaws is that it guts state enforcement authority, a point that Senator Cortez Masto has made over and over. And I offered an amendment that comprehensively protected all those authorities, but that amendment was blocked by the chair. I offered it because for decades, state securities regulators have acted as frontline cops on the beat in all 50 states, rooting out fraud and scams in markets, particularly in those
Smash
that
the like
affect
button.
individuals or small dollar amounts that may not get priority from federal law enforcement. This provides a critical additional layer of enforcement capacity on top of federal watchdogs like the SEC to make sure that every individual who is harmed has a chance of being made whole and that the wrongdoers are held accountable. As the crypto industry has grown, so have the scams. As Donald Trump's federal regulators abdicate any responsibility for holding crypto criminals accountable, these state-level cops are the law-abiding American people's only line of defense. This bill already guts the SEC's ability to protect investors from the worst instances of fraud, insider trading, and market manipulation, but it also tramples on states' rights, blocking state authorities from enforcing many of their own laws, including those that fight fraud and illegal conduct in these markets. Eliminating these protections and remedies that consumers have already under state law will leave crypto holding consumers sitting ducks for fraud and far worse off than they would be without any crypto market structure bill at all. If this amendment actually did something, I would support it. But it actually does nothing, only fool people to pretend it's doing something. I urge a no vote.
Clerk will call the roll.
The chairman?
Aye.
Mr. Crapo?
Aye.
Mr. Rounds?
Aye.
Mr. Tillis? Mr. Kennedy? Mr. Haggerty?
Haggerty's aye.
Ms. Lummis? Mrs. Britt? Mr. Ricketts? Mr. Banks? Mr. Kramer? Mr. Moreno? Mr. McCormick? Ms. Warren?
No.
Mr. Reed?
No?
Mr. Warner?
Aye.
Mr. Van Hollen? No. Ms. Cortez Masto? Ms. Smith?
No.
Mr. Warnock?
Aye by proxy.
Mr. Kim? Mr. Geigo?
Aye.
Ms. Blunt Rochester?
No.
Ms. Also Brooks?
Aye.
The vote is 18 in favor and 6 opposed.
The amendment is agreed to. There are no further amendments. The
Mr.
question-
Chair? Mr. Chair?
Yes.
Mr. Chair, I would like to actually offer Reed Smith 95. I know that this amendment has been
Out of
ruled
order?
out of order.
Out of order. There are no further amendments. The question is now on ordering the bill HR 3633, the Digital Asset Market Clarity Act of 2025, reported as amended. The clerk will call the roll.
Mr.
The clerk will
President?
clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President?
The clerk will call the
The
roll.
chairman?
Aye.
Mr. Crapo?
Aye.
Mr. Rounds?
Aye.
Mr. Tillis? Mr. Kennedy? Mr. Haggerty?
Aye.
Ms. Lummis? Mrs. Britt? Mr. Ricketts? Mr. Banks? Mr. Kramer? Mr. Moreno? Mr. McCormick?
Aye.
Ms. Warren?
No.
Mr. Reed?
No?
Mr. Warner?
No.
Mr. Van Hollen?
No.
Ms. Cortez Masto? Ms. Smith?
No.
Mr. Warnock?
No by proxy.
Mr. Kim?
No.
Mr. Geigo? Ms. Blunt Rochester?
No.
Ms. Also Brooks?
Aye.
The vote is 15 in favor and 9 opposed.
The ayes have it. HR 3633 is hereby ordered reported as amended to the full Senate. I ask unanimous consent that the staff be allowed to make technical and conforming changes and that the cordon rule be waived. Any objection? Hearing no objection, so ordered. Is there any member who would like to give a statement?
Mr. Chairman,
Senator Moreno?
First of all, I want to thank all my colleagues for their hard work on this. I think there's still some work to be done. Section 301 specifically, I think we need to work on to make that even better. But specifically, I just want to call out my two staffers, Sophia and Lindsay, for the hard work that they put in. And I'm sure all of you have Sophia's and Lindsay that I think we need to give them a unanimous round of applause for their hard work.
Mr. Chair? Mr. Chair?
Senator Also Brooks?
I'd like to say a few words on the bill. The digital revolution is upon us, and it has presented a clear opportunity to support small businesses, generate wealth, and I believe spur innovation. And the truth is, this digital revolution is happening with us or without us. Whether or not we regulate it to create the rules of the road or not, it is here. I have a 20-year-old daughter, and she and her peers have made it abundantly clear to me that they are interested in this innovation, that they believe that the digital revolution is important, and they want not only to be able to participate in it safely, but they want what every American wants: true and growing economic opportunity, the opportunity to become wealthy, to have generational wealth. And so that is why I am at the table. I've been in negotiations for over 9 months, working toward regulating digital assets in a way that protects consumers and reduces the risk of deposit flight while still allowing innovation to happen. I have negotiated in good faith with colleagues on both sides of the aisle, and I want to thank them so much for all of their hard work. And in recognition of that good faith, I have voted yes to advance the bill today. Now, I want to be abundantly clear. My vote today is a vote to keep working in good faith. It does not mean that I'll be voting for the passage of the Clarity Act on the floor, because we still have so much work to do. I'm aware that we need to find a workable way to address law enforcement's concerns about financial crimes. I'm a former prosecutor, and I know how important this is. We also need to incorporate an ethics agreement that would apply not only to the president and vice president, but to all of us. The American people, especially my constituents, expect that from us. And we need to work with our colleagues on the Agriculture Committee on their product, which still needs work. I'll keep working with my colleagues to get this done. Americans from every background and every community deserve to benefit financially from this digital revolution and to be protected from the risks that come with it. If we don't act, we'll get left behind. And I simply will not let that happen. Thank you.
Mr. Chair.
I think Senator Haggerty is next, and then Senator Tillis. Or Senator Britt, and then Tillis.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Ladies first. Senator Haggerty, please continue.
Okay.
Then ladies first. Yeah, go ahead.
I just want to say thank you. This bill creates a market structure framework for digital assets. It's going to supercharge innovation here in America. We've been long awaiting this. Less than a year ago, this committee advanced the Genius Act, and it has promoted a tremendous world-leading regulatory framework for stablecoins. The act that we're going to pass today promises to do the same thing for all digital assets. And I want to thank you, Chairman Scott, for your leadership and for your commitment to me to work on technical fixes to the Genius Act that we have bipartisan agreement on. And I want to thank Senator Also Brooks, Senator Warner, and Senator Moreno for working with me on this bipartisan fix, and look forward to getting that implemented in the next iteration of this bill. Thank you.
Senator Britt.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you for your leadership on this and everyone who took so much time and energy to help get this where it is today, in particular, Senator Lummis. You have put heart and soul into this, countless hours, because you want to make sure that we innovate here on our shores. You want to make sure that each and every person has the opportunity that they wouldn't otherwise. And it has been an honor to work with you on this and to watch you lead. In particular as well, Senator Tillis and Senator Brooks, thank you for your tireless advocacy to make sure that we got this right. I do hope that this committee continues to look at ways that we can provide relief for community banks. There are a number of places where we have seen overburdensome regulations, things that were not intended to apply to a certain group, and we know that they're the lifeblood of our main streets and our small towns. And so I hope that we continue to look at that and look for ways to work together, even on this piece of legislation. In particular, Senator Cruz and I have a piece of legislation, the Community Bank Relief Act. We know when the Durbin Amendment was passed in 2010 that it ultimately, there were about 7,500 community banks that were exempt during that time. And now today there are at least or fewer than 4,500. So I think there are
Gregor,
several,
did you see the
entities
update
there
in the
that were
premium
never
group?
intended to be burdened by that regulation, and I think we should fix it. That's one example of things that we can do to make sure that we're looking at the entire ecosystem. And I hope as we move forward that we'll be committed to doing just that. But thank you for your work and look forward to seeing this through.
Senator Tillis and then Senator Blunt Rochester.
Very, very briefly, I just wanted to.
Whoever is in the
associate
premium
myself with
group
the comments
must have
made by
surely
Senator
heard or
Diego
must have seen the
earlier
update
about
now.
the work that we have to do. And with respect to what Senator Brooks just discussed, we're going to keep the same spirit of negotiations going that we have up to this point. I want to thank Senator Lummis because she and her staff, who deserves a long weekend, they all do,
Goodbye.
but especially Chris. They thank them for their hard work, but I also want to talk to the stakeholders out here. You know, people know that I'm in disagreement with some of the banking community, but I've been with them before. I'm going to be with them again, and I'm willing to listen to ways that we can make this bill better as it moves forward. But we really must move forward. So to the stakeholders who are satisfied with the bill, great. To the ones who want more work, you have my commitment to continue to treat you in the same professional manner that I've requested of my staff all along the way. And Mr. Chair, thank you for your patience and thank you for your leadership in getting this mark done.
Senator Blunt Rochester.
Mr. Chairman and Ranking Member, and to all of the members of the committee and to all of our staff who have spent countless hours, even through holidays, to work on this. That is because it is so consequential to our country and our economy. And because it's so consequential, it is important to get it right. For my state of Delaware, we have more crypto ATMs per capita than any other state. We've had the AARP come in. While they support the provision that was in it, they haven't put out a statement that they support the whole bill because there are still concerns. My community banks, I am concerned still. Insider trading was one of the things that for me, people could understand. And in this environment, there is a lot of concern. And so what I hope, and while I'm, again, grateful to the group that has worked very hard and tirelessly, after the Genius Act, for me, I can't take a handshake. I want the work to happen in committee. And a part that was really missing were hearings. There were a lot of members of this committee who said to me, I don't understand what this is. If we don't understand it, how can we legislate? And so as we move forward, I appreciate the good faith efforts. And I think we still have work to do. And I look forward to working with all of my colleagues, but particularly on behalf of the American people, because this is too big for us to fail. I yield back.
Thank you. Senator Lummis, comments?
I just want to add my thanks, Mr. Chairman, to you, to everyone on our side of the aisle who's worked so hard, to those of you on the other side that have worked so hard, and to a lot of the people that have informed the decision-making that's involved in this bill. Particular thanks to the folks from Treasury and Patrick Witt from the White House. Honestly, without their involvement, I don't think we could have gotten as much done. The agencies went from offering technical assistance to really rolling up their sleeves and helping with this bill. And our staffs, particularly Chris Land, my staffer, I can't say enough about your dedication to this. As I've said to Chris many times, we're the dogs that caught the tire. And it kept spinning and our heads kept beating against the pavement, but we can't let go because we caught the tire. And we're not going to let go of the tire until people on both sides of the aisle are satisfied that this is a product we can all be proud of. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Absolutely. Let me just finally say, this process has been one of the most informative and challenging processes I've been through as a United States Senator. I will also say that it has been one of the most transparent times and processes I've seen, with members on both sides of the aisle and industry all in the same room at the same time for hours upon hours upon hours. Any suggestion that somehow this was done without a process that was available to all members, undeniably, factually, patently false. I will say that the members Gallego, also Brooks, Warner, CCM, Catherine, as well as Britt, Rounds, Lummis, Tillis, and Moreno, the number of hours that you all spent talking to each other and getting to know each other better is unbelievable. How Gallego and Moreno continue to talk is a shock to me, but truly all things are possible. Colombians both of them, that's what, thank God for that part. I also want to acknowledge the fact that Senator Gallego worked with Patrick Witt from the White House, tons and tons of hours trying to thread a needle. And I will say that without Patrick and the White House engaging with Democrats, this first step, it's not even the last step, this first step would not have been accomplished in a bipartisan fashion. Without Ryan and Trey, Tyler Williams, excuse me, Tyler, there you are, looking for you over there, working together with our staff, it would not have been possible to find ourselves where we are today. And I want to thank all staff, but particularly Janie and my staff, for their profound impact on this process. You all have worked, I know for sure, thousands of hours over the last few months just on this piece of legislation. At 1:30 last night and at 4 a.m. this morning, I was still getting texts from you all and responding at 4 in my heart. 5 for real. But literally, this process has been one that has been, I think, quite educational. And I hope that we have a successful process on the floor. But I know one thing for sure, that when you all say you're going to continue to work on it, you mean it. And Warner, once again, thank you for your dedication through some challenging times. You kept working. And may the Lord bless your family with the challenges. And CCM, I've gotten to know you a lot better. Appreciate you. I know we don't always get to the final point, but we're going to get there at some point. And thank you for your hard work at staying the course, no matter how you vote on the floor. With that, meeting adjourned.
All right. Let's go. Let's go. All right. Time to end that. Now we take a look at the Bitcoin price action. So we're popping up here. Very, very interesting price action. We have some liquidity getting built up. $81,800 as I'm recording this. Guys, I published a trade in my group as the live stream was going on. If you want to get access to that group, and right now the trade is not performing that well, DM me the keyword CBM on Telegram to join that group. It is completely free. You're trading with your own capital if that interests you. So right now we're in an interesting period in the market. So obviously we had this meeting, but the most important thing outside of what we just got today is Mr. Michael Saylor buying an ungodly amount of Bitcoin. Like an ungodly amount of Bitcoin. Take a look at this. And one sec, I'm just going to flick on the music so we can continue this live stream. Wow. It's worth the risk to reward for me here. Okay. All right. Take a look at this. Take a look at this. Michael Saylor. Can you guys hear me well? Just confirming. Let me check the chat. You guys can hear me? Okay. Looks good. Michael Saylor is buying an ungodly amount of Bitcoin. Look at this. He bought 4,600 Bitcoins today. There's no stopping this guy. Holy smokes. And right now, it looks like we could go ahead and sweep the highs. I entered a scalp short, and my invalidation is literally here. So like if we get closes above the 200-day moving average, closing that trade. Let's see. So you can see here that Bitcoin wants to make it to $82,000. Let's see, guys. Let's see. We have some liquidity built up. We talked about the possibility of this in my YouTube video today as well. If we just refresh the liquidation heat map, you can see, guys, there is some liquidity right there to be grabbed. Right there. 2-week time frame is a little bit more interesting, in my opinion, for what could play out in the higher time frame. Take a look at that. Where's my clown emoji? Anyways, let's see. $81,900. This is some solid price action. Some solid price action for the bulls. Unfortunately, I'm not bullish. This is my Zcash trade, which I'm still holding as well. I'm still shorting Zcash. Let's see now. Let's see. Is the music trap for real? If the daily candle closes like this. Yeah, if the daily candle closes like this would be pretty bullish. Pretty damn bullish. Let's see if we get a little bit of a triple top here, right in line with the 200-day moving average. Let's see. You can't hear the music? Let's see how you get liquidated. You guys want to watch me get liquidated? Smash the like button if you guys want to watch me get liquidated. I'm just playing. XRP is getting ready to send. All right. This is some solid price action, guys. Bitcoin is just about hitting that 200-day moving average. This is crucial. I'm sorry, but I kind of want to see it. Yeah, some of you guys said that you were pissed off that I was bearish. But let's see, guys. This is strong price action. There's no denying that. You got some volume coming in. Overall, though, I have to share this with all of you. The volume has been decreasing if we go on the higher time frames. So you can see the extent. Let me just zoom out a little bit. So the extent of this rally, it's you can see how the volume just has been creating lower highs. Now we see, do we grab the upside liquidity? I mean, surely we're going to grab the upside liquidity. If the daily candle closes like this, it's looking good for continuation into the confluence zone that I highlighted in today's YouTube video. So the confluence zone that you want to look for is my apologies. The confluence zone that you want to look for, in my opinion, of course, is up here. And we mentioned it several times why this zone is so important. Right here. So we have the 200-day moving average, which Bitcoin is currently hovering into. We also have the anchored VWAP from all-time high, this light blue line, which is currently just below $85,000. And we also have 84K, which again, as per my previous video, is the point of control of the tariff capitulation low. So if Bitcoin is to reject, I would expect it would happen from around that zone if we are to reclaim the 200-day moving average. So I'm keeping my eyes there to add to a potential swing short. Still shorting Zcash. I still think that this is going to be bearish. It's going to end up rolling over, in my opinion, of course. But guys, just because I'm already in an active trade, it doesn't mean you should be jumping into a trade because my entry is higher. So let's see here. This is going to be interesting for Bitcoin. I'm reading the chat. Check hype. Yeah, hype is pumping. I am bearish, but not now. It's going to 86K minimum. Guys, who is bearish? Who is bullish now? Because this was a nice pop to the upside. Are you bearish or are you bullish? And don't forget to smash the like button on the stream. We want to get this out to as many people as possible. I also wanted to, let's see what happens with this price action. This is awesome. I'm happy we got this on stream with a nice move, because normally when I'm on stream, the price action is just shit. It's just horrible. Guys, remember, if you want access to all of my trades, I shared a trade as we were live here. You have that first link in the description down below. DM me the keyword CBM on Telegram to join my group. It's completely free. All you need to do is trade with one of the crypto exchanges down below. My go-to is Bluffin. As you can see here, most of my trades are on Bluffin. And yeah, I would highly recommend you join the group if you're looking to see how I am personally trading the markets. I'm a swing trader at heart, but now we try to play a little bit of scalps. Bullish, bull's gonna get trapped. Bearish, Bitcoin above 82.5, but not reaching 85. Just a liquidity sweep. Bearish, bearish, this is a nice trap. I really don't want to be bullish, but I just don't see us, I really want to be bullish, but I just don't see us claiming the 200-day moving average. Guys, the 200-day moving average is significant. Do you guys want me to, let me know in the chat right now if you want me to show you the historical price action into the 200-day moving average. I'll wait a couple seconds. Yes. Okay. Yes. Yes. Bearish, bullish, bearish, bullish. Bullish for the week, yes. Don't fade such a big catalyst, Secrecy Act. This is historical, people. It's possible. Bullish on being bearish. Do it, Matt. Yes, 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 yes. All right, so let's kick things off. What a move to the upside. What a move. 4-hour candle will be telling here. So everyone wants to see. What a move. Is that 82K? Oof. I guess I mainly use Bybit, but on this chart I use Bitstamp. All right, guys. So let's take a look at the historical price action of Bitcoin. So we reclaimed the bull market support band. We just tapped into it. And I mentioned this in my community. Unfortunately, again, I didn't go long because I was expecting a deeper retrace into the bull market support band. And it simply didn't happen, right? So now I just wait for the next potential setup. And you can see here that Bitcoin is right at that 200-day moving average. Everyone has eyes on this level. And the reason why everyone has eyes on this level is simple. If you zoom out and you take a look at the historical price action of Bitcoin in a bear market, what typically occurs is after reclaiming the bull market support band, Bitcoin can rally and get very close to that 200-day moving average. In some cases, we actually made it above the level, and we'll highlight that as well. But this was in the last bear market where we made it right below that 200-day moving average. Then we had a massive, massive rejection afterwards. In the 2018 bear market, it painted a very similar picture. As you can see here, reclaiming the bull market support band, getting that pop up to the 200-day moving average, not quite making it there, and then rejecting. Just for context, guys, the 200-day moving average is $82,100. I'm using the Bybit chart when I analyze this. So it's $82,000, just under $82,100. Now, we have liquidity built up above these levels. So there's that to consider. And I want to bring you to 2014, what happened for Bitcoin, because this was a big one as well. As you can see here, we reclaimed the bull market support band, then we had a nice move to the upside, and we actually made it above the 200-day moving average. Above. This is for multiple daily candle closes. Rounded out a bit, had another retest of the bull market support band, created a lower high, and then the bear market continued. So what I would say is, in literally all bear market cases, this would suggest that if Bitcoin does get that move above the 200-day moving average with some strength here, it would suggest that we can go ahead and move higher. And maybe the bulls will be correct. Maybe that was the extent of the bear market. In my opinion, as I've stated several times, I don't think that that's the case. Because in previous bear markets, we've had as much as almost 50% rallies, like in 2022, where we had a ridiculous rally from the low to the high, just over 46%. This rally, for context, so far, because the high is technically $82,800. This rally, for context, 37.5%. So this is going to be pivotal. This is going to be very, very pivotal, guys. This is where the bulls can officially end the 4-year cycle if we can reclaim these levels. And by these levels, I mean this massive confluence zone between $82,100 up to around $85K. To remind you why it's so important, we have the 200-day moving average, the anchored VWAP from all-time high, the point of control of the tariff capitulation low range, all within this level. And to make matters, I don't want to say to make matters worse, to make matters more interesting, if we take a fib from the pivot at around $98,000, that high, down to the lows, you have the golden pocket right in between that level, which is a historical level for Bitcoin to reject from. So guys, there is a lot of resistance ahead, but hey, if the bulls can make it above, the bulls can make it above, and there's no arguing with the price action. This is it. This is the line in the sand to determine whether or not we move up to, I don't know, above $90,000. For me, I'm happy with the way I'm betting on this. The probabilities favor rejection, in my opinion, of course, but can't fade this price action. A nice move to the upside. And we have Michael Saylor buying like you would not believe. I checked this 15 minutes ago. 15 minutes ago, Michael Saylor had bought 4,500. Now he's bought an additional 300 Bitcoins, basically. He's buying hard. And the reason he's buying hard is because his next ex-dividend date is tomorrow. So it's over tomorrow with this stretch buying pressure. So something to consider. This is a big push. Saylor's trying to break the historical cycle. Will he manage to do so? Let's see, guys. Let's see. Yes, hear you. Full port short next week. It's tricky, man. A lot of people are eyeing these levels. And that's why I said sometimes with those levels, you eye them and they don't come to fruition. And a lot of traders are looking at the levels. Sailor has to do his best here to push us higher. This is the moment. This is the moment if we're going to move higher. It should be holding above these levels. Let's see, guys. I'm very excited personally. All right, guys. What else did I want to cover? Guys, remember all the trades that I take, look, alts, like this is the other thing on this Bitcoin little rally here. Altcoins will continue to struggle against Bitcoin, in my opinion. I am shorting Zcash, still holding the position. I still think that we ultimately fade lower for this one. Just telling you what I personally think and what I'm doing with my own capital. If you want to see how I'm trading the market, you know where to find me. And if you're looking for really good exchanges that you can trust, I personally trust Bluffin, and I have some of the best bonuses in the industry where depending on how much you trade, you can earn up to $50,000 in withdrawable bonuses. I also have the option for 2-bit. I also have the option for weeks. Great bonuses, all of the links in the description down below. And to join my group, you basically just DM me the keyword CBM on Telegram and you get a list of options. As long as you've signed up with any of these links and you're trading on there, you're good to go. I share all of my trades in that group. So we got a pretty big wick up here. I told you guys I entered a short, but let's see. Let's see. Maybe the bulls can push us out of here. This is significant. This really is significant. Got some increasing volume on the 1 hour, although I'm more of a 4 hour to 1 day to 1 week kind of time frame because I am a swing trader. But let's see. Weeks or BTCC, I saw that comment. Typically, I would recommend weeks. If you guys prefer weeks, you got that link in the description down below. And with my link, you also get 25% off all of your trading fees on weeks. I like them a lot. I use them, but my go-to is Bluffin. So if you can't access that, weeks could be a good option. 2-bit is also another option. So there's plenty of options for you guys. And if you're into self-custody, well, we got Velto for you with the fourth link in the description down below. It's the third exchange link that I have down there. So let's take a look at some of the liquidity, because we can see here that there is a little bit of liquidity built up to the upside, but the more you zoom out, the more clear it is, to me at least, that we have some downside liquidity to target. This was a nice squeeze upwards, a very nice squeeze upwards. And we need to see now if Bitcoin can hold above these important levels. Historical turning point. I think, guys, I really think that what we're seeing is a critical point in the market. This is wiki price action. I think that there's a lot of skeptics out there, including myself. I still think that Bitcoin goes lower this year. I know it's annoying to hear that, but we just have to see how this local price action develops. And whenever I have any trades that are invalidated, I come on the channel and I share them. I have nothing to hide. So let's see. Let's see. Interesting local rejection, but like that was a pretty big squeeze up. I agree though that the daily time frame is super critical because there's some patterns that we cannot ignore. First and foremost, we're at resistance, but the last time we got 3 daily candles like this, we just pushed on higher. And this most recent one, 3 daily candles, and we just pushed on higher. So let's see. Let's see what Mr. Sailor can do. Let's see if there's too much selling pressure. Let's see if there's a lot more buying pressure. I think that this is going to be a pretty spectacular start to the summer. I'm excited because if we flip the trend bullish, then I just flip bullish. It's fine. The higher time frame trend, that is. All right, let's see some of the comments, guys. I'm going to be going through the comment section right now. Bitcoin currently sitting at $81,400. We had the squeeze up to just about 82K. And we've been live for approximately 2 hours. I already know, I posted a video this morning talking about the price action, and I would imagine that can we use bluffing in Canada? Give me one moment, guys. I am currently using bluffing. So I hope that answers your question. I am currently using bluffing. Solid exchange. All right, guys. This is decision time. This is decision time. I would like to see a sweep of the liquidity above, to be honest. But sometimes you don't get it. No, I didn't have to pee. That was like 3 seconds. If you think I could pee that quickly. No, I have access to a studio here, and it requires a key. And I unfortunately brought the key in, gave it to the guy. I locked myself in here for the live stream. We're dumping a little bit, guys. Let's see. This is like the bulls need to prove themselves here. This was a very nice rally for Bitcoin, but the bulls don't want this to effectively just be another lower high. Seems like the market makers are waiting for all crypto influencers to flip bullish so they can dump the price. So you guys think the moment that I turn macro bullish, we're going to just dump? That could be interesting. Can you please share the link for Sailor's Stretch Bitcoin buy? Yeah, absolutely. Guys, so this website, and I'm going to share it in the chat right now. This is where you can track Sailor and his buying ability with his Stretch product. So as you can see, I just shared it in the chat. As you can see, guys, look at this buying. You mean 5,000 Bitcoin today. Solid 400 mil to wrap up the week. You know, just a little bit. It's crazy. It's crazy. I think Bitcoin should struggle around here. But again, if the bulls really want to push us, you want to see us break above the 200-day moving average into our confluence zone. Please remember that nothing that I discuss on this channel should be construed as financial advice, guys. I'm just a guy on the internet sharing all of his own personal trades and his overall market analysis. And you can read the full disclaimer in the description down below. If you haven't already, I would recommend you do so. Liquidity. The longs are back in. Love to see it. On the 7-day, it should be pretty balanced. The longs have jumped in again. On the 30-day, this is what I mean with bear market price action, guys. I think that the longs are going to get wrecked eventually. I really do. So let's see. The 4-hour candle is in, 2.5 hours from now. I'm not sure if I'll still be live. We've been live for 2 hours. Probably going to keep it going at least for a little bit. But let's see. Let's see. We got some bulls. We got some bears. This is perfect for the market makers. They love this. So yes, I am indeed shorting. I shared my trade in my group. If you DM me the keyword CBM on Telegram, you'll be able to join that group. It's completely free because you're trading with your own money. Some people in the group trade with 500. Some people trade with 100,000. Some people trade with 1,000. Some people trade with 1 million. Whatever your capital size is, I trust these exchanges to trade with. And once you sign up and trade, you're able to join and see what I'm personally doing in the market. Zcash, guys, I mean, happy with this one. Still looking pretty solid. We had a nice move to the upside, then perhaps another 4-hour retrace. Daily candle looks relatively weak. Let's see, guys. As I said, across the entire crypto market, this is like the bulls want to push here. The bulls really want to push. And to be perfectly clear, especially because I see that there's around 600 of you watching the stream right now, although I do think that Bitcoin will be going lower over the course of this year, and I'm going to trade the market accordingly, I still hold some Bitcoin. Like, I have a spot portfolio because I do believe in the asset class long term. So I try to take advantage of the local price action. And then from an investment standpoint, I mean, I hold Bitcoin. There is no denying that. Do you trade ETH? Yes, sometimes I trade ETH. But right now, I think that Bitcoin will determine the rest of the crypto market, particularly as we've seen Bitcoin dominance just continue to increase here. Like, this is today's price action, right? Bitcoin had a nice move to the upside. Why are alts across the board not pumping? Look at this move. That's very, very bullish for Bitcoin dominance. Let me zoom out. Let me zoom out a little bit more so you get the full picture. We drew this a while ago that we would reclaim the bull market support band. Let me zoom out a little bit more. And a little bit more. Does this uptrend look like it's over? I don't think so. And because of this, whether Bitcoin pumps or dumps, overall, it will likely outperform the rest of the crypto market. Always measure your altcoins against Bitcoin. I saw in the chat some of you guys mention that Hype was performing well. PA Motorsports, Bluffin pays him best. Guys, Bluffin does not pay me. These aren't paid sponsors. They're called affiliate sponsors, right? The way that it works, which I've explained publicly on stream before, is let's say you enter a trade and you pay a small fee. I earn a tiny percentage of the fee coming from the exchange. So the exchange essentially gives me a little bit of that fee that they would otherwise just keep to themselves. So you don't incur additional costs. And in return, I can give you guys great bonuses across the industry. Bluffin, as I said, is my go-to. And you get access to my trades for free. So it's like the fees get paid anyways. I pay fees when I trade, right? So that's just how it goes. And I'm happy to explain that whenever the topic comes up. I don't know why people are scared to mention these things, but it's true. It's just factual. All right. So let's see. Bitcoin trying to hold above this local support here. Let's see. I'm in Hype, 38% profit and going up. Already set stop loss to break even. Absolutely amazing. Amazing. Do you long anything these days? My long exposure remains in my spot Bitcoin portfolio. Now, I do hold stocks. Like I said, it's hard or borderline impossible to call tops in the stock market. So I hold the stock market. I hold the S&P 500, NASDAQ, all of that. But from a strictly trading perspective, I'm mainly into crypto. I think I have an edge in crypto, and therefore I stick to where I have an edge. I did 89% on Hype this morning and closed too early. Man, that's why I think it's very, very good to, like, the way that you want to operate, in my opinion, of course, is you take profits on the way up and you move your stop to break even as, where is it now? It wasn't PA Motorsports. Bro, what? Where is it? Someone literally just said they moved their stop to break even, and now I can't find it in the comments. Anyways, this is pivotal. This is pivotal. there is no denying where we are currently at on the charts. Up 20K on Zcash, which is nice. I'm telling you, if Bitcoin rejects here, the market is going to look bloody, very bloody. But so far, so good. Just a tiny rejection here. Perhaps we continue on higher into our key confluence zone. You got a lot of viewers right now. Congrats on growing the channel. Thank you, guys. Thank you for supporting the channel. Well, what else can I say? It makes these live streams worth it, right? And you know, some of you were giving me flack in the chat saying, "Hey, you don't need to do this. You don't need to do this live stream for the Clarity Act because no one cares." But viewers started jumping in, and yeah. So right now, just trading this price action. And we'll see how the price action develops. Guys, if you haven't already, please destroy that like button. Destroy it. We're at 300 likes so far. I think we can bump this up. I think we do another 500 like stream today. Maybe even 600. Maybe I'm asking for too much. All right. Just hanging out here. Do you have any passive income coming from ETFs, real estate, or business, or do you only trade Bitcoin as your main source of income? Yes, I have other sources of income. And I have other investments outside of the crypto industry. However, I would say that 90% of my money is made trading the markets. It's I'm fortunate to be in this position, but yeah, I think that trading is one of the best opportunities in our lives because you can do it from anywhere in the world. It does require focus. It does require a lot of sacrifice, a few years at least. But for the most part, it's the most rewarding thing, especially if, to put it simply, if you're just looking to make money. So if you think you can control your emotions, and that's a skill that gets developed over time, trading is like, it's just incredible. There's nothing quite like it. And trading's been around forever, right? Whatever you want to trade, stocks, crypto, it doesn't matter. Trading has been around forever. And if you want a little bit of guidance as to how I trade the market, my overall thoughts on the crypto market, the broader markets, you have the first link in my description down below. If you DM me the keyword CBM on Telegram, you can join my group for free. Basically, you click this link, it'll bring you to this page. You click send message and you type the word CBM. You'll be greeted with an automated message that I have programmed, and it's a voice message of myself plus an automated message with the options to be able to join the group. Now we're just in Chop City. I really want to see if Bitcoin breaks to the upside here. It's going to be super interesting. We're holding above support right now. Do 12-hour stream with Andy and Devault. I need the market to bleed this week. Why do you need it? I've held Bitcoin since 2014, not selling anytime soon. Well, you are an absolute legend. That's very impressive. 2014, that's before I got into Bitcoin. When 55K? Probably later in the year. Yeah, Zcash is interesting because we're trying to potentially reclaim this level. But if we get another close below here, I think that this thing can absolutely puke. So those are my thoughts. We had a nice rally today. Again, a drop lower. So it really, really depends. But structurally, if Bitcoin is to roll over here, I think the rest of the crypto market will struggle. So let's see. When do you plan on closing your short position? Not for a while. My inval is above 85K for my big Bitcoin short position, my swing trade, and I'm actually looking to add to my position if we are to head higher. But all of the details as to how I'm trading this market are shared in my group. So I know a lot of people try to watch the YouTube channel and try to see what I'm doing, and they try to copy me directly, but my updates and how I adjust my position is all shared in my group. And so unfortunately, you can't just look at what I'm doing on YouTube and just immediately click a button to copy me. I try to give you broader insights of the market and how I'm operating, but the real ins and outs of my trades are within my community. So let's see here. Holding on a little bit, holding on. Any news that came out? Long-stalled crypto market bill wins key Senate committee vote. I like how X have added stocks and like crypto now. It's really nice. Hooded Knight 6980. You and Crown Crypto Cave are my two favorite channels. Keep up the good work and thank you. Thank you for your support. I really do appreciate it. No, the act hasn't passed. It's just gone to the next phase. But a lot of people are excited about this naturally, and it just happens to coincide perfectly with our friendly neighborhood Michael Saylor buying a shit ton of Bitcoin, almost 5,000 Bitcoins. Let me refresh. This should be real time, but yeah, insane. This is the last day though that he has this excess liquidity to buy Bitcoin until the next X dividend date. So I am more confidently trading on my own now. That is the best thing that I could possibly read today. When someone comes to me and says, hey, I joined your group. I've been in the group for a couple months now. I've seen your trades. I've seen how you're doing things. And now I trade based on my own analysis. It almost brings a tear to my eye, because the most profitable and the most successful traders that are in my community are the ones that don't just blindly copy what I do, because I do have losses, right? It's part of the game. They're the ones that can see what I'm saying and agree or disagree with what I'm doing based on their own analysis. And they'll say, actually, I don't agree with taking on a trade here. I simply think the opposite. And they don't execute on a trade just because I shared that I'm doing something. Those are the guys that end up making the most profits long-term in my group. It's very clear, because you have to learn how to think for yourself. I don't care if, let's say I go on a heater and I have a 10 win streak, 10 in a row. That unfortunately instills a bad mentality in people that just blindly copy. So I never advocate for blindly copying. I'm not a financial advisor. I just share what I personally do, and then you can make your own decisions in this market. I hope that everyone can make their own analysis based on this price action. Some people are extremely bullish, and that's totally okay. For me, I think we're approaching higher time frame resistance for Bitcoin. That's just my own personal opinion, right? It's called critical thinking and learning your own analysis. Yeah, absolutely. I see Roth Trader here says, I think Bitcoin will go higher. Cold with a K and a 0 says, I think bear market is over. See, we have some different opinions. But also copying and learning is better than losing and not copying. I disagree. Losing money trading in general is the tuition. You know how you spend a lot of money for like a university degree? or a college degree. It's the tuition. It's the tuition. It's your fault if you buy meme coins. Yeah, I mean, I don't think anyone in my community anyone that's been in my community for a while, I highly doubt that they're very bullish on meme coins and stuff, because I am an advocate for Bitcoin outperforming the rest of the markets and giving those returns while minimizing your downside risk. You know, everything is a trade-off. No, the Clarity Act hasn't technically passed yet. We are in fear again, and on fear and greed, a bit more bullish. I'm bullish, but I agree and deeply respect that you are bearish. There you go. Guys, I love this. I absolutely love this. There's a huge liquidity clutch to be grabbed around 83K Fwadi. I know you said that liquidity maps matter more when we are in a ranging environment, but it would make sense to grab it. See the 30-day time frame. Yep. I did take a look at this recently. 30-day time frame. Holy smokes, guys. Like, look at that cluster of liquidity. However, I want to bring your attention to the downside. Maybe we tap into it. Maybe we go up above the level. Maybe we hit the confluence zone. All I know is that if tons of shorts, like a ridiculous amount more than the longs, start piling in, and you see this bar going off the screen above current prices, we're likely going to grab that liquidity. So, yeah, that's something to consider. Yesterday, I officially... J. Rumi, please stop spamming in the chat. Otherwise, I'm going to have to block you. I don't take a look at random meme coins. I know you're talking about Caspa, but I'm not that bullish on Caspa. Measure it against Bitcoin, and you'll see why. J. Rumi, one more time, and I'm kicking you out. One thing is that big whales are now shorting. It's not what you want. Will we know if Clarity Act passes? Not today. It will. Guys, if you want to see anything regarding the Clarity Act, we did a full live stream the first 1.5 hours. That's what we had. So now Bitcoin is kind of just bouncing around in this zone, chopping. Sailor keeps on buying. Let's see. But hey, the stock market continues to make all-time highs. Falcon Eye, with your spot Bitcoin, how do you profit from it? Do you sell it over time, borrow against it at a lower interest rate? I've borrowed against it before, and it's actually solid. It's a solid way to do things if you know how to navigate the crypto markets. And... one second, sorry. Lost it. And I typically sell some if we hit some higher time frame interest zones. So I purchased from 15K to 30K in the previous bear market, and I've sold a lot this bull market, but I've also sold some more above 80K on this bear market relief rally because I wanted to get a little bit more cash. To dump it, we need a tweet from Trump. 83, the max of liquidity up there, not much upside. I would like to learn swing trading on my own. Will your group help? Yes. Podware AI, my group will help. So often the way my group works is I'll post, of course, the trades that I'm personally taking, but I'll also give some broader market updates, as you're seeing on the channel here. Before I go and publish my YouTube video, before I share anything on YouTube, it's all shared in my group. And I try to identify opportunities in the more medium term for swing trading. I'm really curious to see how this price action develops. Please release the news. Guys, the news, the Clarity Act stuff, go to the beginning of the live stream. I covered it for like well over an hour. So you can see all that at the beginning of the live stream. You just have to rewind. Now obviously I'm just looking at the price action and engaging, chatting with you guys. How many price patterns in TA? Weird question. What's James Wynn saying? I don't know, but I saw a screenshot of him promoting another shit coin of some kind. Like, my gosh. We need the 4-hour candle to close first. How's this 4-hour candle? Like, this is a pretty solid 4-hour candle. You know, we wicked up, came back down, and now we're holding. We're holding. Where do we have most of the liquidity below us? Most of the liquidity below us. The biggest cluster is 75. And then we have massive clusters between 76 up to around 78.5. And these two, 77.5, 77.7, 78, is approximately the same as 83. So there is more liquidity to the downside. Let's not ignore that fact. I truly believe Bitcoin is going to rip to 84, 86K. All the bears are relying on the 200 moving average not to be breached like 2022. It's going to be a fast pump. When do you think the S&P 500 will top from the current economic perspective? I have no clue. I can't answer that question. All I know is that I hold stocks long term. I can't answer that. I don't know. Is Coinbase on the verge of breaking out with this news? One thing that, talking about Coinbase, let's look at the Coinbase Premium Index to see if there's some buying coming in here. Not really. We gotta look, guys. Every single time on the chart, right? This is pretty crazy to me. Every single time on this chart that we see Bitcoin gets like that move to the upside, and I go back to the Sailor chart, it's a huge spike. He now bought over 5,000 Bitcoins today. And this technically ends, I believe, in a few hours. So perhaps waiting for then. Do you think 55K is still realistic? Yes, I discussed this previously at length. This is not out of the ordinary for a bear market relief rally. If you go on the higher time frames and you measure the moves of previous bear market relief rallies, sometimes we've rallied just under 50%. This is not even a 40% move from the lows. So it's happened before. I don't think that the drawdown that we saw from all-time high is sufficient. And even if it was, if I have to change my stance here, I do think there's going to be lower levels to buy some Bitcoin. But I do hold long-term Bitcoin from 15K up to 30K that I accumulated in the previous bear market. So I'm not super inclined to buy at these levels. There's no need for me to. Why didn't the war get us that low? Because the war doesn't determine the price of Bitcoin. The TA comes first. How are we doing with likes, legends? Let's destroy that like button. 354 likes. I'm getting a little bit tired. But guys, if you wanted to see the Clarity Act and what's been going on, like I live streamed the whole thing. So you can always go back and rewatch this price action. So right now, I just want to see how the price action of Bitcoin develops. Still in my Zcash trade. Bitcoin dominance going up. Bitcoin holding up relatively well here. We still got another 1 hour and 10 minutes until the 4-hour close. Interesting price action. Bears are scared. I'm a bear. Does Bitcoin correct after STRC buying historically? Yes, a little bit. Because he's the one that's essentially buying most. You can see by comparison, Coinbase Premium Index, look how red the flows are. Dumping, 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 dumping. Maybe this flips into green and we get some more interest outside of Saylor, but I think Saylor is trying to single-handedly buy us out of a bear market. I don't like the fact that he's going for tons of the supply, to be perfectly honest. I would much prefer if he didn't own a gazillion Bitcoins. Abood, I only want to buy spot Bitcoin and I'm sitting in my hands because I trust you as a friend. Guys, this isn't a matter of trust, it's a matter of probabilities. If you wanted Bitcoin exposure, you could have bought lower. I've been very, very public about the fact that I've purchased Bitcoin at much lower valuations in the previous bear market, and that was one of the reasons why I didn't buy more Bitcoin near the range lows. I still think that Bitcoin can move lower, but this isn't a matter of trust. It's a matter of I already have my exposure in the market. That's something I'm trying to teach people as well. If you want exposure to an asset class, you buy when there's a good amount of fear, and a 50% drawdown from all-time high is a good amount of fear, with everyone calling for lower. That's, of course, if you had no exposure to the asset class. I had exposure, and therefore I wasn't compelled to buy at those levels. Based on what history would suggest, there is still a high probability of us moving lower. Sometimes it takes time to play out. That's still my base case, and you guys will be first to know if that base case changes. But right now, this isn't out of the ordinary of a bear market relief rally. Imagine Saylor starts selling tomorrow. I don't know, guys. This price action is pretty... I mean, I'm currently down on my short for Bitcoin's perspective. Like Zcash is looking fine. Bitcoin, let's see. Judge of clips. If you're picking up MicroStrategy from a trading perspective, that's totally fine. But I rather own the underlying asset that they are betting on as a company, which is Bitcoin. So I think Bitcoin over the long term outperforms anything related to Bitcoin over the long term. Sir, can we see 50K level? Anything is possible. Doesn't the Saylor factor change the way we should be viewing Bitcoin's narrative and projected price targets? His accumulation strategy seems like it changes the dynamics compared to previous cycles. Yes and no, because he was kind of doing the same, not to this extent in the previous bear markets, and he also held in significant drawdown. Look, he's just pumping it up. Saylor tracker. So Michael Saylor is currently up 8%. And guys, he's been buying forever. It just baffles me that he buys at these valuations and not a ton near the bear market lows. Look, it's just crazy to me. Where's Trump? We need him to dump it. If Roth Trader, we don't need Trump to do anything. The market will develop in the way that it wants to develop. Stocks are just soaring higher and higher, and at the end of the day, that's what it is. Bitcoin approaching very, very critical levels here. Let's see. We also rally to all-time high, then start dumping, and close above 83K is dangerous for Bitcoin bears. I do agree that closing above, like getting like higher time frame closes above here, to me would suggest that Bitcoin can make it all the way up to the anchored VWAP from all-time high, which is around $84,800. So this is why I'm saying it's a pivotal moment in the market. We have people betting on the price going down. We have people betting on the price going up. So this map is very interesting. Yeah, Sailor would be up more if he bought the S&P 500. Imagine, yeah. Like if he raised this much money to buy tech stocks, he'd be swimming in it. He'd be up so much more. It's crazy. It's crazy to say that. Matsir, where are you based? Which country? I am technically based out of the United Arab Emirates in Dubai. However, I also visit Canada from time to time. Veiny and red. What would be really bullish for Bitcoin is a big company with real revenue that accumulates Bitcoin using its profit. Agree with you, Gregor. That would be very bullish. Not just companies that rely on the Bitcoin price action in order to make profits. 100%. That would be. Like when Tesla added it to its balance sheet, that was a good start, in my opinion. I want a black swan. I wouldn't be sitting around waiting for a black swan. Ooh. Open interest, nice and up. Bitcoin just hovering between terminal and balanced and realized price. Pretty extended for midterm years. Roth Trader, great stream. You're doing a great job. Thank you. I appreciate it. Started off a little bit slow with the videos. The other live stream that I was covering for the Clarity Act. But I think people wanted to watch that because this is the most viewers I've had all at once for quite some time, I think. So guys, thank you for that. And if you haven't already, please smash that like button. It helps the channel grow. I really, really do appreciate it. Yeah, you could see my YouTube recommendations, Messi and tennis highlights, Yannick Sinner. So funny. But yeah, guys, please destroy that like button for the long live stream. I also published a video today as well if you want to check that out on the channel. Will you be streaming every day? Roth Trader, the idea for me is to build up a tolerance with streaming. So if you guys have been tuning into the streams for quite some time, I talked about this. When I first started, I had like a 1 hour, 2 hour stream. Then I tried 3 hour, then I did 3.5 hour, then I did just over 4 hours. And yesterday was my longest stream ever at 4 hours and 15 minutes, I believe. I'd like to stream every day, but I also know that a lot of you appreciate the video content because it's much more concise. So my end goal is to be able to do both, streaming and the video content. But I also can't take my eyes away from the prize, which is actually trading the market, right? Streaming takes up a lot of time and attention. It's honestly exhausting. The live stream skills is going up indeed. Thank you. Appreciate it. Gregor the legend. You play tennis? Yes, of course I do. Of course. Of course. 1 hour candle is about to close for Bitcoin here. And you can see that we're holding on to this zone. This was a potential SFP zone that I highlighted at the beginning of the stream. Well, we clearly didn't SFP, and now we're trying to hold on to it as support. So this is going to be important for Bitcoin here. Higher or lower? I'll actually leave a poll. So we got some interesting liquidity here. Let's do the poll. Start a poll. What is next for BTC? You going to any World Cup games? Yeah, I'll probably find a way to do that. What is next for Bitcoin? So we got some liquidity pockets. 83K, because you can see here we have tons of liquidity to 83K, and price is currently at 81.5. So a $1,500 move would put Bitcoin at, let's just call it like 80K. 80K. There is more liquidity to the upside if we consider the options I gave here. Did the candle close? Tony Montana. I'm not sure what candle you're talking about. Did the candle close? The 1 hour candle, yeah. But 4 hour is what I'm pretty interested in here. What a move. Right now it's 50-50 between 83K and 80K. No, Tony Montana. Guys, you go on TradingView, click 4 hours, and it tells you on the side here, look, this is the amount of time required for the 4 hour candle to close. That's another 2 hours from now. I definitely won't be live at that point. But if you want the updates, you know where to find me, guys, how I'm trading the market every single day. I am active in my community. It's where I share all of my trades, personal analysis, how I view the market, how am I moving in and out of positions. You have the first link in my description down below if that interests you. It's free. You DM me the keyword CBM on Telegram and you're able to join that group. And the only requirement is that you've signed up with one of the affiliate exchange links down below. You start trading on there as you'd normally do. It's with your own capital. Do you mean a candle close or just a wick to price? Sorry, I'm reading other comments. I got distracted there again. Candle close, or I just mean a wick, just a wick. Like, will price make it to 83K first or 80K first? Right now, price is right in between. 83K is important because we have tons of upside liquidity. And this is actually an area where I'd consider adding to my existing short with size. I said I trust you, no pressure. I trust your analysis because really an honest guy. I hope I find your channel first when I enter the market with some shit coins. Yeah, guys, I appreciate you. Thank you for the comment, Abood5309. There's so much nonsense in the industry. And unfortunately, even though I was public about shit coins and the fact that they would continue to struggle against Bitcoin and that we probably wouldn't get a crazy altcoin season this cycle, the channel was pretty small, right? I had maybe 500, 1,000 subscribers. Now, thankfully, we're above 17,000 subscribers, which is great. And I have targets of 100K even. But I tried to warn people. Anyone that's been around for a while knows my stance on alts, or knows what my stance was. I do think there's a period there where maybe they can perform well again if we shift over monetary policy, but it's going to be tricky because inflation continues to run rampant, and it's not an environment conducive to rate cuts. So if you take a look at this price action, if you take a look at the rate cut probabilities here, you got no change. Next one in July, no change, but you can see already the odds of a rate cut and rate hike are pretty much the same. And if we go all the way to, and this just continues, right? The gap continues. Rate hikes, higher odds. Rate hikes, higher odds than rate cuts. Even maybe 50 basis points. Crazy. Then December, January. Like they're pricing in higher and higher rate hikes, which is not the kind of environment where alts can outperform, unfortunately. But let's see, maybe things change. Like usually this can change very fast if we have some kind of crash of some sort. I'm not into predicting crashes, especially for the stock market. Sailor is really going at it. He just purchased 5,000. Kira Yagami 87, my man. Kira, are you a man or a woman? I apologize if I said my man. But thank you. You've been subscribed since 1,000 followers. I've been seeing your comments recently. You've been saying 90K. I think you've been calling for 90K for quite a while. Maybe you'll be right. Maybe Bitcoin hits $90,000. I just trade the probabilities, right? And in my opinion, even with Sailor buying like a madman, I don't know, guys. Matt's here. Please name 3 alts. Please name 3 alts you're willing to buy around the Bitcoin lows. Oof. Putting me on the spot here. Well, first and foremost, I'd like to start answering this question by saying I think it's a lost concept to hold most of your portfolio in Bitcoin. I don't know why people forgot about this. That's like the most basic crypto concept ever. But a lot of people just went knees deep into altcoins, and that's how they ended up getting wrecked. So my portfolio will always be the majority Bitcoin. That's how it works. I'm a serious investor, and that's that. I'm not a crazy like degen just looking to 1 million X with gambling on altcoins. With that being said, and now that we got that out of the way, I would be looking at hype as one of them, definitely. And honestly, there's a chance that the altcoin that I accumulate at the next bear market lows is an altcoin that isn't even out yet, because we know that historically some of the newer ones can get that upside potential, but over time alts bleed against Bitcoin. That's always the case in crypto. So the next ones that I look into might not even be they might not even be an alt that's out yet. I'll leave it at that. Chantal Young 4953. How much are the costs per month in your private group? Guys, to be abundantly clear, my group is free. It's a free group. The requirement and the way that it works is, first and foremost, you have to DM me this keyword on Telegram, CBM. You click this link, first one, it brings you here, send message, CBM. Then you'll be prompted with options to sign up to crypto exchanges. If you're already trading on one of these, I would recommend just making a new account with the links here, because with my link, you get great bonuses. But it's whatever amount of capital you want to use to trade. The minimum to trade with is $500, but I would say that on average, most people in my group trade with somewhere between 2 and 10K. Then we have another group of people that are trading with between 100K and 500K, and then above 500K, a couple people with a few $1 million. But that's not, you don't need to have that kind of money to trade. You trade with the capital that you have. So it's free in the sense of you sign up and you trade with your own money. I'm not charging you to get access to my insights. Can you explain why is it the last day that Saylor buys? So the way that it works is basically he has these ex-dividend dates, and before this occurs, people will pile into this stretch product, which effectively gives them 11%, 11.5% yield on their Bitcoin. And for buying this product, Saylor effectively has excess liquidity to buy more Bitcoin. So it's a little bit of a Ponzi scheme. It's working well so far. And after this ends, it effectively means that, let me just show you. Let me scroll down here. So you can see in the prior weeks, the price typically goes below par because people are expecting to get these earnings going into the ex-dividend date. And when people aren't buying stretch, the price remains below par, and therefore he doesn't have the liquidity to buy more Bitcoin. So this is his 2-week total. This week so far, he's bought almost 12,000 Bitcoins. And I want to, how do I zoom out on this chart? There it is. So you can see that in that prior week where Bitcoin, between April 12th and April 18th, he managed to buy around 30,000 Bitcoins, which is just absurd. Yes, we might go to 93K, then drop back to 74K. Let's see. Clarity in China trade deal, bull trap. Looks like the biggest bull trap. Let's see, guys. Let's see. So right now it's around 50-50 between whether or not 83K comes first or 80K comes first. Epstein is the creator of Bitcoin. We know for sure it won't go to zero. I don't know. No comments on that. I did it last month with Stretch. Sean Bulldog with $15,000, and it took me 2 weeks before he went back to par to collect my money to break, even plus the 96 cents a share. So Sean, if you don't mind sharing with everyone, did you end up making money off of that? How did it work? 10 Miguel 4052. Bro, your content is really helpful. Thank you. I appreciate it. Just doing my best out here. Guys, if you're enjoying the content, please smash that like button. Let's get to 400 likes. We're only a few likes away. Just takes a quick tap of the like button. Yes, I made 96 cents a share and I paid $100 a share, but it took 2 weeks before I went back to par to collect all my money. Okay, that makes sense. So you're fueling this gambling addiction that Saylor has. Just kidding. I mean, at the end of the day, Bitcoin is doing perfectly fine, right? It looks like we're going to hit some pretty important levels, or we're trying to, which is this 200-day moving average. Let's see. Yeah, so that's the other thing Grigor rightfully pointed out. The real risk is that it might not return to par for quite a while, until maybe one day it never returns to par. But for now, it seems to be working. The Ponzi seems to be working. It looks like it wants to take off. Bitcoin? Yeah, it kind of looks solid, doesn't it? Doesn't it? Guys, if there wasn't this liquidity to the upside, I'd be more confident. But because we have a lot of shorting interest, you know, there is more longs, we know that, but there's still a lot of shorting interest. 83K, 2 billion. What I worry about Stretch is there is a crash, and a lot of these strategy want to be reselling Stretch as a blend, go bankrupt, and get liquidated. The French photographer, absolutely valid. Valid. I think, unfortunately, I don't think the end will be too pretty, but it can work for as long as it can work, right? Problem with one of these Ponzi's is that once it's time to sell, you're already late. So much manipulation that you're always the exit liquidity. Told you it will get bullish. Girl has it all. You did tell me it would get bullish. Maybe tomorrow and weekend dump. If not next week, we will be very, very, very bullish. Yeah, guys, like I'm paying attention to this weekly candle for Bitcoin. I mean, that's a pretty significant move to the upside. Pretty damn significant move to the upside. And it looks like this one, where we just had a nice squeeze higher like this. So, something for us to definitely keep in mind. Higher time frames are the most important. JFOMO 23. So is that confirmed? Like I said, XRP on the move. Let's see. Let's see how my alts are doing. Bitcoin looks like it wants to move higher, guys. I'm in a short, but my invalidation is very, very close. Yeah, Jayumi, I'm not reading your message because you were spamming the chat, my guy. Saturday is a waxing moon. Let me scroll up. Let me scroll up. I made 300x on Caspa. We'll make another 100x long-term investment on Caspa. I mean, I don't know, maybe, but you're not going to hear me say anything about that, to be honest. So congrats on your 300x. That's amazing. That's absolutely amazing. But make sure to always pay yourself first. Taking profit is critical. I'm new to trading. I'm trying to learn here. Can you please tell me what the white line is for? Yes. So this white line above here is speculating on the fact that maybe Bitcoin creates a lower high. So you can see how we've created these lower highs, but this is not inherently bearish, but I'm just speculating on a potential rejection from around this zone. And so, yeah, that's effectively what I'm looking at. We have this blue line above, which is the 200-day moving average, and historically Bitcoin struggles around that level. We came close to it multiple times, and here we are. Is Tau the next Bitcoin? No. Nothing is the next Bitcoin. Hopefully we drop first before we fake out. Why? There's a chance that we just pop to the upside here. I'm smelling bots in the chat. I don't see too many bots. I don't think there's that many bots. I think these are all... I guess we're going to 83K. Let's see. Do you think when the Asian markets open, we will see a pump? I am unfortunately not a fortune teller. Thanks. Please don't mind my newbie questions. Joining the group soon as I get some money. Awesome. I look forward to seeing you inside. Let's do a like count. 411 likes. Now the real question is, can we run it back up above 500 likes? There's almost 400 of you watching, guys. If a quarter of you like it that are currently watching, just click the like button. We're going to end up surpassing 500 likes. Let's do it. I do think, though, that if Bitcoin hesitates around here, there's a chance that the longer we stay here, the more alts might get some more upside momentum. This has been the best part of my day. I totally have a cold, but this has been the best part of my day. I totally have a cold, but this stream perks me up. Amazing, man. Love to hear that. And I hope you feel better soon. Oh, that was a long time ago when I read that message. I believe if you've bought the 60K zone and you're in the market 80%, either it goes up or down, you act accordingly, just buy more as it goes lower. There's one altcoin that goes up against Bitcoin for years already. Gratian Jello, please pump the like button. Yes, sir. Do we still drop below 60,000 this year? I still think that there's a probability that we do so. It's still currently my base case, but Bitcoin looks like it wants to stretch its legs here. So this is a strong move. This is a strong move, and we have liquidity to the upside. So we'll have to see how the price action develops in the next few days. You guys said Hyperliquid is doing good? Whoa! You're not kidding. Holy smokes, man. Wow. Wow. What a move, guys. Sheesh. That is some move. Wow. There's guys calling for $35,000 Bitcoin. I mean, we've seen bear market drawdowns get really, really bad, so I can understand where that prediction comes from, but it's not currently my base case. And if it were to go there, guys, I would be buying so much. But again, nowhere near my base case. Bite-size legend. My biggest mistake was closing my long from 60,000 to 68,000. I guess I wasn't educated enough. The thing that I always advocate for is you have your price targets, but you always, always, always leave a moon bag. Always. Because you don't know. Sometimes it just continues to fly, continues to fly. A lot of people were bearish at around 65K, and I was actually one of them because of the local price action. But then once you reclaimed the level at 65K, the value area low, in my group, I talked about going for a nice long right here. So like that's a pretty big move, 22% move on Bitcoin. You always want to leave a little bit of a moon bag. Oh, there's some buying locally here. Some buying. My gosh, Sailor just going at it, man. I opened a long right before Bitcoin pumped. Crazy. Awesome. You're all focusing too much on where Bitcoin will be. Just trade what's in front of you right now. It doesn't matter if the market goes up or down. We can trade both directions. Correct. It's like Sailor was kind of slow with his buys. And then as he approaches the end of the week, he just goes crazy. Bitcoin dominance is sharply falling, man. No, it's not. Guys, you're too locked into the lower time frames. Does this look like sharply falling to you? Look at this. Look at this uptrend, guys. This is what I mean. I think people are too focused on the lower time frames when it comes to trading. Like way too focused. Look at this. This is up and to the right. Does this look like it's sharply falling to you? Granted, I am on a weekly time frame, but you have to zoom out. Your views on XRP. Unfortunately, I think it's a centralized shitcoin. I'm not personally investing in XRP. I don't, I think that they have too much control over the supply. Volume is not looking great. Volume on the 1 hour? I gotta add, I don't know why there's not volume here. It's so silly. Like, it's like it just removes it. Just add. Okay. I mean, are you talking, like, what time frames? Because I pointed this out during the stream, and it's important that we point this out, guys. Look at the I have the arrow there. Look at the volume. Like, the volume on this rally has just been decreasing and decreasing and decreasing. Not normally what you want to see. See how it kind of increases on the way up? Yeah, obviously I'm zooming out so much, right? But all right, come on, Sailor. Send it to 83K. ASAP. Mr. Sailor. Send it. He's buying it. He's buying Bitcoin like his life depends on it. And I think it does. Guys, I'm getting flamed in my this is why I like live streams, because I can engage with you, and as soon as you leave a comment, I can address your comments. On my video updates, I post it, and then if I don't check, I get some comments saying, like, legend has it that CBM will be saying the low is not in yet, even in 2029. Guys, I'm just giving you what history gives me. And I've personally been very, very excited about pumps and bear markets before, only for the moves to entirely retrace and just only for me to be devastated. So I'm not quite sure what else to say, right? It'd be interesting. Do, 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 I'm more bullish on Bitcoin than MicroStrategy simply because MicroStrategy is built on speculating on Bitcoin. Like it's, and I don't know if you look back at Michael Saylor's history. I'm someone that likes to invest in people as well. For example, Tesla, you're investing in Elon Musk as a person and all the great things that he's accomplished. I think, and you can check Saylor's history. He's had some pretty interesting experiences in terms of running Ponzi's. Let's just put it like that. So while I do believe in Bitcoin long term, I'm not the biggest fan of someone, first of all, trying to buy so much of the supply, which is okay, to each their own, but creating leveraged products to be able to do so. I am more bullish long term on Bitcoin than I am on Saylor as an individual, and therefore his companies are included in that. I see $11 on MicroStrategy, just my long-term opinion. I'll be buying them. Yeah, that's totally fine if you think that's the case. Hi, mate. What is your take on Sol? My man, I don't recognize your name, but I recognize your profile picture because you've commented on the channel before. On Sol, my take is, let's see. Again, guys, I'm not in a Sol position right now. And I try to limit the amount of... Oh, this is the market cap. Stupid Binance. So you're probably gonna get frustrated with me for saying this, but guys, remember I am a swing trader at heart. What else do you want me to say? This looks bearish as fuck. Excuse my language, but like, I don't know what else to say, guys. This is how you can tell like Bitcoin dominance increasing as well, exemplified on a chart. You can see here that Solana is at its bull market support band and it's experiencing a little bit of resistance, right? And then you have the 200-day moving average above. So it's experiencing a rejection at its bull market support band on the weekly time frame. But if we take a look at Bitcoin, I'm going to take a look at this one. If we take a look at Bitcoin and we zoom out, what do you notice? Bitcoin is currently, excuse all my drawings, above its bull market support band. So this just shows you that even on a rally, Bitcoin rallied more than Solana and will likely continue to perform stronger than Solana if it pumps or dumps. That's my opinion, of course. Maybe I'm totally wrong and I'm not seeing something, but in my experience, and based on what I'm seeing with Bitcoin dominance, I think it will likely trend higher on the higher time frames. One of you guys mentioned in the chat, oh, look, Bitcoin dominance is dumping, but guys, I don't, Bitcoin dominance is not a metric you look at on the 5-minute chart, you know? Love the honesty. I'm glad you like the honesty. I told myself when I started my YouTube channel as well, I'm just gonna be I'm just gonna be me, and I'm not gonna worry about hurting anyone's feelings. So I'm gonna be brutally honest, and that's just the way she goes. Did you ever trade on a 1-minute chart? No. If you see me on the live stream with a 5-minute chart open, it's strictly for live stream purposes, for maybe fun scalping, but it's not how I actually trade, guys. I'm not a scalper really at heart. I'm not. When I started trading, I was trading all kinds of time frames when I got into trading, but now I'm much rather having larger positions in the market, and I just kind of sit back and see if they play out with my invalidations, and that's it. I don't stress too much about it. And on the stressing topic, guys, just to remind you, this has always been my saying, but if you cannot sleep at night with a position open, it simply means that you're risking too much capital per trade. I know it's annoying to hear that. You've heard that, blah, 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 1%. Guys, that's the way it goes. The longer you trade, the more you realize it's all about risk management and how much you're actually risking per trade. Because if something goes wrong and you're going all into a trade, it can be just devastating. It's happened to me before when I started trading several years ago. So, yep. Great mindset. Thank you. Appreciate it. Time to roll over. There's no point asking about any coin. If he's bearish on Bitcoin, he's going to be bearish on everything. Wizyor, correct. To be fair, correct. As a matter of fact, maybe I'll start looking to short some alts within my community. I've already started Zcash. Looks pretty decent so far. Guys, if you want to know what my next trades are in this market, bullish or bearish, you have the first link in my description down below. If you DM me the keyword CBM on Telegram, you're able to join my group. It is completely free because you're trading with your own capital on any of the exchanges down below. And you know, Bluefin is my go-to crypto exchange. And we have other options if you don't like Bluefin or you can't use it. My views on gold this year is largely that gold will, where is it? Is largely that gold will still have strength over the course of this year. It might take a while, but guys, this is a rally that will probably continue. But right now it's just chilling a little bit. Tapped into the 200-day moving average, was effectively a good buy the dip opportunity for gold. I think it will likely continue to go up, but I'm not going to be talking about it really on the lower time frames. It's just here we're at the bull market support band, and I think that this will ultimately curl up, which is a sign of risk off historically. But then we have the stock market doing what it's doing. Bear trap on the likes. Don't be fooled. We can reach 500 likes. Is that the case? Do we have a bear trap on the likes? 450. Guys, come on. We can do that. We can smash it. I'm seeing it slowly go up. I like when when I can see it go up. 500 likes. We could do this. We've been streaming for 3.5 hours, and I published a video today. So I'm doing my best to keep you updated, all formats, trying my best. This is decision time for Bitcoin. Really, really is. Guys, if we can get 1,000 likes before the stream ends, I'll try to pump Bitcoin with my $1. Honestly, though, it would be an absolute dream to get 1,000 likes on a stream. I wonder how I'm going to do it because right now, you guys are awesome. So thank you, first of all, for tuning in. 400 viewers watching. I really do appreciate every single one of you. But I see some guys getting crazy engagement for some nonsense that they put out in the industry, and it always just baffles me how they have so many people watching them. Let's see the comments. EO Max, I appreciate you, mate. Hamid from Toronto. Yes, now I remember your name. Come on, Sailor, buy more Bitcoin. This is a joke of a stock market. Crazy. I'm happy I own some stocks. Sailor's still buying. 6,000, I thought I made a mistake. 6,000 Bitcoins. Keep giving the gravy, more will come. Well, unfortunately, thus far, we're running out of gravy here. I'm just kidding. I still think I still have confidence in my higher time frame analysis. Otherwise, you would be first to know. My community members would be first to know. But right now, again, this is the extent of a bear market relief rally. We've seen this play out before, only to get devastatingly disappointed on a rally like this. But some of you got one of the most humble community, to be honest. I love to hear that. Bro, audience quality matters more than quantity. That I agree, guys, because I've noticed, and again, this is a huge thank you to all of you. I've personally noticed that my engagement on the channel is pretty insane. Like, my videos get like 4,000 to 5,000 views, and I don't even have 20,000 subs. So over 25% of the audience is effectively watching the channel. So it's getting out there, and it means, you know, when I see the engagement, it makes me extremely happy, and I'm honored to be able to be in the position that I am in, even with the relatively small channel that I have. Would you not? The next black swan is Sailor bought the top and sold the bottom. Liquidity will show up exactly when it shouldn't. The stock market right now. Unbelievable. But I'm not complaining, guys. As I said, I'm not in the business of calling tops on the stock market, and it's fun to see. It's fun to see your money just multiply. Okay, I will address the comment of the guy saying that Bitcoin dominance is crashing. We dropped a couple minor decimals of a percentage. So I'll give you that. Bitcoin dominance on the 15-minute time frame. Check it out. We've dropped. But like I said, girl has it all. Let's see if your prediction is correct. USDT dominance is helpful, but I actually prefer USDT and USDC. So you can add them both together. USDT plus USDC weekly time frame. Again, I think personally that this is going to expand to the upside. But naturally, with the price with Bitcoin going up, this rolls down. So I think we find support around this zone and we take off for stablecoin dominance. Personally. Do I think Bitcoin will make its decisive move today or later this week? Probably later this week. Guys, I'll give you some. I'm going to wrap this up in the next 5-10 minutes, I think. But I'll give you my honest assessment of Bitcoin. So if we zoom out on the 4-hour, the market structure is still bullish, right? It's still bullish. There's no ignoring that fact because we just create higher lows and higher lows and higher lows. As you can see here, boom, 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 potentially here. So the market structure hasn't broken locally. Now, some would argue, you zoom out even more on the weekly time frame and you're expecting another correction. And I am. That is my base case. I think that Bitcoin will likely find a top around this zone. But this is very, very, lower time frame or higher time frame. So for me to be willing to say I think the extent of the pump is over, we would have to probably lose this level down here, which is $76,000. It's the value area high of the existing range. And it's also this pivot that Bitcoin effectively wicked above. And then we dropped down to around $65,000. So that's the key level for me. Right now, we're well above that level. So there's no sense in even talking about it. We've seen that historically, and you can rewind the stream, Bitcoin likes to hover around this 200-day moving average in bear market. Sometimes we get a little bit above it. Sometimes we don't quite make it there. And then ultimately reject. So that's currently my base case. And that's why my positions in this market are reflected in that way. Now, the other thing that I've been talking about constantly on the channel, and I mean constantly, has been this massive confluence zone up here. Because we have the point of control of the tariff capitulation low range, very, very significant range because, guys, remember, this is where Bitcoin flew and made an all-time high, a massive all-time high when there was max fear in the market. So it does still hold some validity today. Then we have the anchored VWAP from all-time high at around $84,800. Then we have the 200-day moving average. And then if we take that pivot, again, just to remind everyone here, the fib from the local high at around 98K down to the local low, right in between the 200-day moving average and the anchored VWAP from all-time high. So this is a massive, massive confluence zone. That's why I said that I'd be willing to add to my existing swing short position if we are to enter this zone, which we haven't entered yet. So I'm still holding that one. And in the meantime, I'm also shorting Zcash at this point in time. So I'm up around 17K, constantly fluctuates. But if Bitcoin is to reject from around here, I am anticipating that this would as well. This trade was shared within my community. So remember, guys, if you want to know how I am trading the market, what trades I'm already in when I get on the stream, you have that first link in the description down below. If you DM me the keyword CBM on Telegram, you'll be able to join that group. It is free because you're trading with your own capital, and you can use any of these links down below to be able to join. And I would say honestly that that's a wrap for today. I mean, maybe I'll wait. I'll wait 5 minutes. Do I wait 5 minutes until the hourly close? Let's see. I'll do that. We'll wait 5 minutes. Just 5 minutes to wait for that hourly candle close. So we could watch this. We could watch this all together. Ferrari, my man, you don't necessarily need to watch the whole live if you don't want to, because I actually published a YouTube video. So it's up to you guys. I'm trying to give you guys multiple formats. Is 86 on the card before 76K in your opinion? It's possible. Well done. Good stream. Oh, and there's also the CME gap above. You guys rightfully pointed that out, right? So there's a lot of confluence above us. Plus, guys, I don't like this. We have a lot of liquidity to 83K. A lot. So, yeah, something to consider. Can you explain the tariff capitulation low in the meantime? I just call it the tariff capitulation level simply because if we zoom out and look at the Bitcoin price action, oh my gosh. Okay, I'm going to grab another chart. If we zoom out and look at the Bitcoin price action, we basically had a huge drop, a bear market drop, a bull market drop, which was 32%. Like, these dips are part of bull markets as well. Just like you can get really big dips in bull markets, above 30%, sometimes even 40% dips. In bear markets, you can also get pumps exceeding 40%. We've seen it in previous bear markets, like I showed in today's stream. So the reason why this is significant is because this whole zone generated the move to be able to make all-time highs again, surpassing this 110K level. And so it's important to consider that in our overall analysis, because the most amount of volume in that zone is literally somehow, and this is why confluence is so important, right in between the 200-day moving average and the anchored VWAP from all-time high, plus the CME gap, plus we have liquidity there. It's just like there's so much confluence. That's what I'm looking at. I will never short SPX again. Guys, as we get close to wrapping up, can we get 12 more likes? Can you guys do that? If you tuned into the live stream, 13 more likes, I should say. Can we please get 13 more likes to wrap this up with a solid 500 likes? Most of you currently think that 60%, we will hit 83K. So let's see. Rudy, thanks for tuning in, my man. I haven't heard from you in a while. Nice to see that you're doing well. Excellent stream as always. Hit that like button. Awesome, guys. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And we did it. 500 likes. And would you look at that? We take a look at the time here. Did the hourly candle for Bitcoin close? Not yet. So we wait. We got 50 more seconds, guys. 50 more seconds with my ugly drawings. Oh my gosh, guys. Sailor is buying like crazy. He's almost at 7,000 Bitcoins today. It's his last day, remember, until the next ex-dividend. So, wow. He's pushing it. He really is pushing it. All right, guys. 4, 3, 2, 1. Hourly candle has closed. If you enjoyed the content, make sure to smash the like button, subscribe, share the channel with your friends and family, and I will see you in the next video.